HJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray Music app and listen wherever you go.
Oiler Insider and Jersey Aficionado.
Running in for his second touchdown of the night.
60% talent, 40% Swedish hair cream.
Let's see if it ends on this note. Everybody looking on. It does. And Dylan Cease with his arms raised up to the sky. A masterful performance here at Fenway Park today. A one-hit shutout. The last 6 outs he records are by strikeout. And what an incredible performance by Cease here today in Fenway.
It's all gas, no brakes.
77 yards for the win for Edmonton. Down, kicked. Blanchard does it on the final play of the game. A walk-off winner for Cody Fajardo, Mark Killam, and the Edmonton Elks, who improved to 6-1 with this victory at Mosaic Stadium tonight.
Presented by Bet365. Alberta, we're here to stay.
The Tom Gazzola Show on Edmonton Sports Leader, Sports 1440.
Good morning. It is Wednesday, July the 29th. Welcome into the Tom Gazzola Show on Sports 1440, coming to you live from inside the Stingray Studios at West Edmonton Mall. Shane Bieber takes a step in the completely wrong direction, potentially clouding his future as a Blue Jay and what that could mean in a potential trade deadline return. NFL training camps fully on the field. First day of practices across the league, and plenty of storylines to dive into, dissect as we work through the next couple weeks, of course. Hall of Fame game next week, preseason action, and then before you know it, we'll be diving right headlong into week number 1. And Amazon and Prime Video staking a huge claim in NHL TV rights and availability. Good morning and welcome to you. Thanks for tuning into the program today. However you are doing so, Brandon Douglas sitting in for Tom Gazzola for a few more days when Tommy will make his return following the August long weekend, which is right on deck coming up. Lots of things to take in across the province, across the prairies, and certainly beyond that too. If you're watching us, plenty of options to do that with our YouTube page, Sports 1440 AM. You can subscribe, give yourself the notifications there so you get a little ding-a-ling every time we go live for each of our programs here during the day. YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, even Twitch, all available for your viewing pleasure. And if you're listening, you got the old reliable AM radio dial plus a TuneIn app, iHeartRadio, and our own website at sports1440.ca. If you do miss any portion of the show, don't fret. Don't worry. You can always go back and catch up via podcast. Just search the Tom Gazzola Show at Apple, Spotify, Amazon, pretty well anywhere you get your shows. You can find it there. You can also subscribe on that front and even select the auto download feature. So that way they'll be waiting for you in your library. You never have to miss a second of the show. Another beautiful morning in the city after a quick little rain cell buzzed through at least the west end last night around 8 o'clock or so. Some more good lightning, not quite as much wind, thankfully, but hopefully nobody impacted too much as the flooding continues to plague our roadways around the city. I know over by Connors Road and the bridges, underpasses at a few different spots. Stay safe out there. Take it easy. Give yourself a little bit of extra time, especially if you know that there's been issues in and around your commute. The Toronto Blue Jays, to open things up for this morning's show, losers again last night. They fall to the Nats after a rain delay. Man, it looked a lot like Edmonton, the footage we saw from Washington, D.C. around the ballpark, just pounding, coming down in waves, a cloud of it nearly all over the diamond. And so delayed for, I guess it was over an hour or very close to it But they did get underway, and unfortunately that delay did not serve the Jays or their starting pitcher very well. As Shane Bieber not getting out of the first inning, just a 2/3, walks 6, gives up just 1 hit, strikes out none, 4 earned runs against a couple of them, walked right to the plate. So not ideal for Shane Bieber. After a couple really promising starts that immediately preceded this, it does raise the question of potential impact on his return coming up on Monday's deadline. We've talked about it pretty extensively these past few days, right? Kevin Gausman, Shane Bieber, maybe the team's 2 best trade chits. But man, creeping up that list all of a sudden may very well be Jeff Hoffman, who in a little bit of mop-up duty, hey, they were still in the baseball game. All right, they're only down a couple runs at this point, thanks to some heroics by George Springer, who hit the homer, drove in a few. Kaz Okamoto in relief off the bench for an injured Vlad Guerrero Jr., his status up in the air, unlikely to play today, but Okamoto homers again to tie a Blue Jays rookie record in that statistical category. So there were a few positives to draw from it, and maybe Hoffman and his trade value could be at the top of the list as he once again gets a clean inning, striking out 2. He struck out the side in yesterday's effort, giving up the 1 hit as well. So Hoffman has been quite sharp after a bumpy start to the season that saw him lose the closer's role on this team. And Louis Varland has taken that and ran with it, leaving no room for Hoffman to try and get his foot back in that door. But if you're another team out there with playoffs in your sights, you could do a lot worse right now in shoring up your bullpen. I'm still not quite convinced that Hoffman is ready to return to a closer role. If there's a team out there with doing closer by committee or, rotates a few guys through, maybe depending on leverage and situation, could that be a fit for Hoffman to, just be an extra boon, an extra bonus to another team's bullpen? We will continue to wait on that front because pretty quiet, still quiet. It seems like most teams, less and less so day by day, it seems the Blue Jays are waiting to get as much clarity as possible before they determine if they're going to be buyers, sellers, a little bit of both. Big names are out there. Mason Miller out of San Diego, probably premier number 1 on the bullpen front. And then a guy like Tarek Skubal, of course, Cy Young, perennial candidate for several years consecutive out of Detroit, the prize jewel, and everybody just possibly dreading the moment that he could potentially land in Los Angeles with the Dodgers, who have been strongly linked to him, especially after Shohei Ohtani's recent injury that's taken him off the hill. But he does hit another leadoff home run last night for the Dodgers in Los Angeles. 7:08 in the morning. Let's say good morning. Welcome in the man on the 1s and 2s, Donovan Paulson. Good morning, Donnie. Pretty uneventful, pretty slow out there right now. Just like chipping away at some baseball. We got to watch the Texas game that was on in lieu of the Jays game during the delay. Not sure if you were in on that. If you've already remitted yourself to just like out on the Jays and you're not watching at all anymore, I'll tell you, I was tempted. When the game was delayed, I thought this might just be my excuse to not watch them tonight. But there I was, still on it all the way through to the end. But how are you doing this morning?
I'm pretty good. I will admit I did see I was tuned in, and then I saw what Shane Bieber was doing in the first inning.
Yeah.
And I promptly went to eat dinner and ignored certain parts of the game. I did tune it back in later, but I wasn't exactly rushing to finish my dinner and distract myself from the debacle that was the Shane Bieber start there. But no, it was the only real stuff that happened yesterday was, kind of just the extensions in the NFL, right? Those were the big news of the day.
Man, the NFL, I was joking about it with Connor Halley yesterday about is the salary cap real, right?
No.
And I firmly believe the answer to be no, tongue in cheek, of course. But then between that, the non-guaranteed contracts and ability to restructure and just continue to move stuff around, and you can get an extension when you still are, we know in the NHL, you can sign a deal when you got 1 year left, but it has to wait until this certain date that can be true. We know it's July 1, but in the NFL, it's just so much more obscure. And maybe it's just ignorance on my front, but do we see this as often in the NHL? And it's you wait until training camps start, and at that moment, it's all right, well, now get me a deal or I'm not playing. right? We have seen it in hockey, right? The holdouts at camp, because for some guys, usually RFAs, of course, that is their only point of leverage. But if that's the case they're in, they do not have a contract.
Yes.
They're an RFA. These NFL players, they have deals, and it kind of goes one of two ways, or one of a few ways, I should say, not just two. You actually hold out where you don't show up, and that is usually not a very good sign for future relations between the two clubs. It's not irreparable, but it points things in a poor direction. You get the hold in, which we're currently seeing Vita Vea doing down in Tampa Bay, where he's there. He's not participating. He's not doing anything. Says, you won't give me a new deal. I'm not playing for you. Trade me. And then you get the third option, which to fans and the team is the most desirable, and what Baker Mayfield's doing. He also wants a new deal, but he's under contract. He's being paid pretty handsomely. He is there at camp. And for him and his agents and his team, personal team, not NFL team, they decide, all right, we're done negotiating now. Like, this is it. Like, it's time to focus on football. We're playing. We're no longer bringing in this side distraction of trying to hammer out a new deal. We had all offseason to work at that. Camp's here. It's football time. So Baker Mayfield's going to play under his deal, which is in its final season. And things are looking a little dicey all of a sudden in Tampa Bay when kind of think about, like, Mike Evans, synonymous with the franchise, future Hall of Famer, perennial all-star, all-pro, Pro Bowl, you know, put it whatever connotation depending on the year is applicable. 1,000-yard man automatic. Like, he's playing for the Niners now. And I don't know if that was a personal choice or maybe a little bit of eyeing the direction of the team that he decided to depart. But now with Vita Vea looking elsewhere, Baker's future suddenly in question, I have to think they'll find a way to make him, probably the highest paid quarterback in the NFL, because every new deal crosses that threshold once it's signed. We saw two more yesterday. Jalen Carter, highest paid defensive lineman. Denzel Ward, highest paid DB. Like, the new deals just come across and they always clear the new. It's essentially thinking that if every player at the respective position in the NHL that signed it was the next Kirill Kaprizov and then Leo Carlson. Like, every deal. Because it doesn't matter if Jalen Carter, great player, he is not the best at his position. Ditto for Denzel Ward. They're not the best at their position. They're very good, but they are being paid now the most in history. And that's just natural because of the crazy inflated numbers we're seeing. Teams are selling for $10 billion. Guys are signing in the MLB $500 million, $750 million contracts. And we know where that's led. The MLB probably not going to play next year, but I digress. So of some of those off-season, not quite off-season because training camp's here, but off-field news pieces yesterday, Donovan, any in particular jump out at you as a little eyebrow raising, or was it mostly run of the mill?
Mostly kind of run of the mill. I mean, I'm surprised. I'm surprised, but I'm not surprised that the Browns had to give out that big of a bag to keep Denzel Ward. Like, pretty much that entire deal is guaranteed. Now, granted, I mean, great player, really good player, but again, he's now the second highest DB for the second time in his career.
Yeah.
Which is quite funny considering, I don't know, where do you rank him in your DB rankings? I mean, he's definitely not 1, 2, or 3. But yeah, that's the world we live in now, where every single quality top 10-ish player at their position in whatever sport you want, whether that's MLB, any really major sports league, is going to get the absolute bag. And I'm not surprised by the Carter one. Like, that one makes sense to me. That's a young guy. That's a building block of your defense for years and years. So that one makes a ton of sense to me. But the Denzel Ward one, I don't understand why the Browns continually do what they do. They just, like, he's a good player, but at some point, like, you got to get a quarterback, right? Well, I know you can't do it now.
They've got a whole bunch in that room. They're just trying to decide who's the best one. To Ward's deal specifically here, because you mentioned it, Donovan, this is the second time that he now becomes the highest paid DB. So this deal, 2 years, 62.2 to be exact, $1 million deal, 52.3 of which is guaranteed. 31.1 average annual value, highest paid defensive back in NFL history. Now, he is the longest tenured Cleveland Brown following Myles Garrett's trade to Los Angeles earlier this summer. But this is the part, like, this goes back to the genesis of my point here. So Ward had 2 years left on his current deal, but no guaranteed salary remaining. And that was a 5-year, $100 million extension signed in 2022.
Yep.
So, and like, that's what complicates it all and convolutes it a little bit, where because of the guaranteed money, oh, there's none left. Well, now I have to go out there and get some more. And how can you blame the player?
Of course.
Right? Like, when this is the type of contractual situation you're working on, like, it's all about the guaranteed money. That much has become very evident. And I don't know if it ever was left to chance or left to guess. Like, we always knew that. Now, Carter, on the other hand, like, they picked up his 5th-year option, but now he's signed through the 2031 season because it's a 4-year, $152 million deal worth up to $160 and $106 million of it fully guaranteed. Richest for a D tackle in NFL history on both fronts, average annual value and guaranteed money. So, and that's a $38 million for the, and don't need everyone to pull their calculator out on that front. So wild times, and you see all that. And now, what does it mean for a guy like Vita Vea? Because listen, he's been around a long time. He's still very effective, but compared to Jalen Carter, who's just 25 years old and has been a good fit in Philly, down season last year by his own like lofty standards, he set through the first couple of years, but still, it's the money starts to widen your eyes pretty extensively.
What this really did for me yesterday is make me think about what the hell are the Seahawks extensions going to look like. Or the one in Devon Witherspoon.
Yeah.
Like, that one is going to be a monstrosity.
But, and just for example, because we saw Derek Stingley last year, was it last year? Just in summer, like he signed he became the highest paid cornerback.
Yes.
Right. And
they just go back and forth.
You hold the title for sometimes a week, sometimes a day, sometimes a year, but you will not hold the title for very long, even if you're getting leapfrogged by players who are not on your tier. Because biased, I'm a Texans fan, no problem. Derek Stingley is probably, I think, depending on your argument, the first or second best cornerback in the NFL. I would say between him and Pat Surtain. So there's a few other guys in the mix, and Denzel Ward probably still hanging around. Like, if we're talking DBs, collective, depending on how guys move around. I think he's probably a top 10 guy. But does that warrant paying him the most per year of any player at his position? To me, it doesn't, but you got to keep your guys, right? Like, you got to field a competitive team. And if you're a team like Cleveland right now, I guess that means overpaying a little bit to make it happen. They did the same thing with Myles Garrett. But difference with Myles Garrett, he wanted out. They say, how about you take this much money? It'll make you the richest player at your position in history, defensive player in history. Oh, maybe Cleveland's not that bad. And then he's traded a year later. It's usually not for long. Not for long. The text line is open, 1-833-401-1440. Some messages flooding in talking about these money deals and their implications, some justification for it and things like that. We will get into those as the morning progresses. Coming up on the show today, Brian DiArdo from CBS Sports. He'll talk some NFL with us. Training camps across the league underway and open. What are some storylines Brian is keeping an eye on, and other news and notes. 8 o'clock, Mark Spector, Daily Slot, will pop in for a chat at 8:20. Zach Lang from Daily Faceoff and Oilers Nation. And then in the 9 o'clock hour, Brogan Houston from Deseret News down in Utah, covering the Mammoth. Little offseason check-in. It was a busy one for Utah and GM Bill Armstrong. We'll see how he sizes up where Utah is headed. 9:40, we'll go in or out. In the 10 o'clock hour, we'll hear from Cam Tate with Cam and Eggs and Declan Kruger, Lowdown with Low Tide, as well as Elks Nation writer, podcaster. He does it all over there, covering the green and gold. He'll be in studio with us, and we'll send him on his merry way into a Wednesday afternoon. Brian Diardo, right after the break here on the Tom Gazzola Show on Sports 1440. The show, as always, brought to you by Bet365. Canada just hit the biggest home run of the summer. Bet365 is available in Alberta and here to stay. Download the app. Must be 18 plus. Please play responsibly. Stick with us. We're back right after the break. You can watch the show. We're streaming it on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
It's Dollar Drink Summer at McDonald's. Sip on a refreshing small fountain drink or a small iced coffee for just $1 each plus tax, all summer long. Only at McDonald's. Excludes flavored and cloud iced coffees. At participating Canadian restaurants. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
Founded by a former pro motorsports competitor, Evolve Wheels and Tires brings decades of experience in custom wheels, lowering kits, lift kits, and accessories. Visit Evolve Wheels and Tires in West Edmonton, Edmonton's premium wheel specialists. Evolve your ride, evolve your experience.
Say hello to Alberta's home for reeling and dealing. With Play Alberta, you can spin into the excitement of popular slots like Cash Eruption and Desert Fantasy. Experience Alberta-exclusive games and get in on the action of live dealer tables with all new elevated stakes. However you prefer to play, the fun is ready when you are. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Today on Hey Culligan, how smart is your water? Here's Tracy.
Hey, Culligan. I think my water might be dumb.
Good news, Tracy. Your water's not dumb. It's just not talking to you.
You can make my water talk.
No, but the new Culligan Smart Drinking Water System can talk to your phone to tell you when your water filters need changing and help you meet drinking water goals.
Now that's some brilliant H2O.
You said it, Tracy, and we're already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test from a local Culligan water expert at culligan.ca.
You wanted local sports on weekends. Saturday mornings at 9, check out the Saturday Sports Setup, where we'll tee up what's happening on the weekend sports scene. Tune in Saturday morning at 9 on Sports 1440.
Hi, thanks for calling Uline.
Wait, did the phone even ring?
Nope.
Okay, so you answered before the ring, but now you're going to put me on hold, right?
We don't do that here. We're real people answering the phone, ready to help with your order when you are.
Uline has thousands of quality products for your business and warehouse needs, always in stock, ready to ship same day, and backed by Uline's legendary 24/7 customer service. Uline, we warehouse for you.
Recently, our company softball team lost the big game by 1 run. Then Dale tried to console us with the quote, "Winning isn't everything." Well, Dale and I are very different. I get early payout from Bet365. If my team goes up big, I get paid out instantly, even if they blow the lead later. Sound familiar, Dale? Thanks, Bet365.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. 18 plus only. T's and C's apply.
The Tom Gazzola Show with guest host Brandon Douglas on Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440.
Presented by Bet365. Alberta, we are here to stay.
Welcome back to the Tom Gazzola Show on Sports 1440. Brandon Douglas sitting in for Tom, Donovan Paulson, Josh Fenwick, both in studio as well as we work our way through a Wednesday morning where it's pretty quiet on the Western Front, at least in terms of, hockey news, baseball. The trade deadline activity has not picked up yet, but NFL training camps are in full swing. And to chat about a number of storylines, we welcome back Brian Diardo from CBS Sports, covering the National Football League, to the program. Brian, good morning. Thanks, as always, for hopping on with us today. Much appreciated, sir.
Hey, no problem. And I will say, as far as hockey news, as a Blue Jacket fan, we signed Jet Graves. We went to arbitration. I was worried about it. but we got him. It's been a bad offseason for us, but maybe a little bit of glimmer of hope here that things are start to be positive for us.
Well, and the Jackets are one of the few teams that we're kind of still waiting on a little bit of activity from, with bated breath about what Adam Fantilli's new extension is going to look like. Of course, your top line center, third overall pick from a few years ago. Does that got you in any nervous fits at all, Brian?
See, I'm not that much into the weeds, unfortunately. That's kind of I saw that we got Jet Graves, and I saw that Werenski, there was the trade rumors with him, but he's going to stay, which is great news.
Mm-hmm.
Then obviously I saw the Marchenko trade rumors as well. But no, Fantilli is another really good player. We have a really nice core here. 2 years in a row, we were essentially the ninth team, the first team out of the playoffs. So I'd love to see this team at least stay together. We're probably the most irrelevant team in North American sports, which is really, really sad. I'd like to change that and finally go on a run here. We had that one little, brief glimmer of hope in 2019, and we weren't able to sustain that. So, yeah, as you alluded to, Fantilli was big for us, and I'm sure all your Edmonton listeners are enthralled with Blue Jackets talk here.
Oh, no, believe me, Brian, they're happy for any form of hockey talk, even especially this time of year where it's quiet. But no, I didn't mean to put you on the spot there, but you're right. Things are trending in the right direction for Columbus, but they kind of seem like they got to take that next step and get a few things figured out. But let's talk a little football now, as camps, practices are underway after getting some rookies reported and the rest of the clubs filing in short order behind. Some storylines, big news stuff that is maybe catching your eye in the early goings of camps getting underway. And the one that I want to start with you was Atlanta and this quarterback battle that I don't know if we could say we were excited about, because it seemed kind of underwhelming about who would take this job that's otherwise a very talented roster. But it seems like Tua Tagovailoa is going to be a little bit behind the eight ball, dealing with some injury coming out of the gate to at least start things off.
Yeah, you're right. And that was, it was funny because as you were discussing storylines, that was the first thing that popped into my head as well. And yeah, I think, it's such a weird thing. You could put so many quarterbacks in that offense, and they would already be set up for success. It's just so odd to me that this is the situation the Falcons find themselves in. And really, I would have probably brought Kirk Cousins back. But yeah, Tua, Kevin Stefanski said this morning that he should be back sooner rather than later, which is, that's coach speak, let's be honest. But that is positive news, right? That he probably won't be out very long. But they did bring in Cooper Rush, who he is just a professional backup quarterback. His completion percentage is usually high. His touchdown interception ratio is good. He's not a long-term solution. Everybody knows that. But I think if Tua is healthy, I think he brings obviously much more stability to that team. Penix has shown flashes of potential, but yeah, it's funny, and I totally agree with you. Like, that quarterback battle is not getting a lot of attention, and neither is the J.J. McCarthy, Kyler Murray situation in Minnesota, which I also think is huge as well. But I think at some point Penix is going to get another chance to start this season, whether it's injury or Tua not playing up to snuff. Like, I'm just going to be honest. Like, I think the book's written on Tua's career at this point. Like, he's the check down king, with Bijan Robinson, in my opinion, the best running back in the league. That fits his game for sure. He's got a lot of weapons there with Pitts and London. I just don't think he's got the athletic tools to get it done anymore. So I think at some point, Penix is going to get a chance to start there again this season.
CBS Sports, Brian DiArdo with us here talking NFL training camps. Yeah, Brian, I was really high on Penix. I think more than a lot of, much more qualified people were coming out of college. I just like his accuracy with the ball at Washington and, in that season they had, I was really enthralled and enamored with his tool set. Hasn't translated to the NFL. And then the injury concerns that really clouded him in his draft year have proven to come to fruition. He's missed some time, more knee injuries and things like that. So one worth keeping tabs on. But you mentioned Minnesota. Let's shift there too. If you had to place a bet right now about who you think will start more games for the Minnesota Vikings under center this year, where would you be laying it down on?
Well, it's funny because I deleted my gambling app, or my, I had one of those things, and I said, you know what, this is getting in my Disneyland fund, so I had to get rid of it. But I think, I think this one's much more cut and dry. I think Kyler Murray is going to win this one for sure, and I would be shocked if he didn't. He would have had to have forgotten how to throw a football if he doesn't win this competition. Like McCarthy. Now, I'm also going to be honest with you. I went to Ohio State. So I have a bone to pick with J.J. McCarthy. He was there when they cheated and stole our signals and beat us when they shouldn't have. I digress. He's got a lot of athletic tools and stuff. He reminds me of like Jim Harbaugh, like just mobile, a fighter. What he doesn't have in athleticism, he makes up for in grit and toughness and fight. But I don't see it with him. And I'm with you on Penix. I still think he's got something there, and he's still got a lot of potential. And that's why I think no matter who wins the job in Atlanta coming out of camp, Penix is going to get a chance this season at some point. I don't think that's the case in Minnesota. I think that's Murray's job to lose. I wouldn't even say that's a quarterback battle. That is his job to lose unless he really plays bad or gets injured. McCarthy is going to stay on that bench. And really, again, with Kevin O'Connell, as we all know, his history of working with quarterbacks and reviving careers of quarterbacks who otherwise were considered busts, like Sam Darnold is number one on that list. This should be a match made in heaven. They've got great receivers, good offensive line. And that is an excellent coaching staff in Minnesota. So I would expect Kyler Murray to win that battle.
Now, Brian, one of your your most recent piece over at CBS Sports was about Aaron Rodgers and kind of this swan song season with the Steelers. I was a little surprised to see him back there. I thought he might maybe go and latch on somewhere else. There was no shortage of teams that could use a veteran quarterback this offseason, but he decides to run it back, albeit with a new head coach this time around, reuniting with Mike McCarthy. Well, what do you make of Rodgers in Pittsburgh? And did you see enough from him towards the end of last year to regain confidence that he's capable of, taking a team to the playoffs and maybe actually winning a playoff game for the first time and feels like forever for Steel City?
No doubt about it. There's no doubt. And I think when I look at the Steelers last season, their lack of weaponry at receiver ended up being their end. And we all knew it. It was like a movie where they did a terrible job hiding the plot and you just wait for the end. And I mean, I love my daughter. I watch a lot of Disney movies. They all end the same way, happy ever after, right? And it's very much, so it was predictable, right? Rodgers' season last year was so predictable. Like he could only do so much. And I think for that team, the ceiling was where it ended. They won a weak division, lost in the first round to a better team. And I think the main thing I kept seeing from Rodgers last season and the Steelers in general, they were still leaning way too much on him to bail them out on offense. And that came to a head against Houston, where the running game was going nowhere. And really, they didn't have a commitment to the running game consistently, in my opinion. So now you've got 42-year-old Rodgers throwing up 50-50 balls against one of the best defenses, if not the best defense in the NFL. So for me, the biggest thing with the Steelers is, yes, they've strengthened that receiving core emphatically. Michael Pittman, Jeremy Bernard, the rookie, love what they've done with that receiving core this offseason. Rico Dowdle, trying to get another third straight 1,000-yard rushing season. They've got all the weapons, much better improved cast for Rodgers. That doesn't matter, though, if they still rely on him too much. They have to establish the run. They have to build an identity where they're controlling the ball. And that's going to keep, obviously, offenses off the field, because the biggest question mark I have for the Steelers is the secondary. Joey Porter's dealing with an injury right now. Jalen Ramsey's dealing with an injury right now. I already didn't love the secondary prior to those injuries. They need to keep that defense off the field. They're going to be able to do that by running the ball. And no quarterback at 42 has won without any kind of supporting cast from the running game. Even Tom Brady had Leonard Fournette, playoff Lenny. So if they can establish that running game with Jalen Warren and Dowdle, they have enough pieces to win a playoff game for sure.
Talking NFL with CBS Sports, Brian Diardo here on the Tom Gazzola Show on Sports 1440. Brandon Douglas sitting in for Tommy G this week. So some of the other news that has actually come across the wire, not just speculative at this point, have been some of the contract situations. And we saw Jalen Carter and Denzel Ward both get paid, richest at their respective positions. For Ward, once again, for Carter, the first time in his young career. But then the flip side of that, Vita Vea holding in Tampa Bay, and Baker Mayfield, they're setting it aside. He's going to play out the year on this deal and then, readdress once the season comes to a conclusion. Let's start with the deals that got signed, Brian. And what did you make of the new contracts for Ward and Carter, respectively?
They're great deals. And Carter, my colleagues and I just voted on some of the best players, their positions, and Carter was among, I think, top 5 and interior defensive line for all of us. I mean, he's unanimously considered, one of the best defensive linemen in the league. So no, that was very appropriate for that to get done. And Denzel Ward, I mean, my only concern with him has been injuries. He's not old by any stretch, but he is kind of entering that middle portion of his career where you wonder if his best years were behind him. So I don't necessarily love that move for Cleveland, with the exception of, they already lost Myles Garrett. He's their best player since 2000. So if you can keep another stalwart on that defense, you're going to do it. And Ward's a very, very good player. But no, I think I think that the Carter signing was big for Philadelphia. Keep him there. They have a really good team, and last year I put a lot of their struggles on the Super Bowl hangover, AJ Brown and his issues with
Right.
everything basically, and the fact that their offensive coordinator was in over his head. They've replaced him. So no, I think that the signing for Carter was really huge, especially right before the start of camp. They don't have to worry about that distraction anymore.
And so with Vita Vea in Tampa Bay specifically, can you see this going the route of, say, Myles Garrett in Cleveland last year, where it was, yep, this isn't working out. I'd like to play somewhere else. But then all of a sudden the number gets slid across the table on an extension and you say, you know what, on second thought, I'm pretty comfortable where I am. Or do you think he will, in fact, be traded and be applying his trade elsewhere this season?
I don't know what Tampa Bay's doing.
Good question.
They're hard to figure out. I don't know what they're doing. Like with the I know Evans. I think they did try to keep him, but then he leaves, and they're a team that's kind of in flux. It's like they've still got some nice pieces from the teams that went to the playoffs for several years in a row, but they didn't make a lot of significant upgrades to that roster that really underperformed last season. Really, and the injuries did decimate them for sure. I just don't see Vea and Baker are so odd because they're proven players. They've had success in their careers. But they're at a point where wouldn't pay top dollar for either of them. I mean, Vea's been a very solid player. He's never been that upper echelon Jalen Carter-like guy. He would have to come down considerably for something to get done with the Buccaneers. And I would look to trade him, and I would even go as far as to say, listen, you come back, you do a great job, we'll entertain things later. Obviously, you can't say that to a player. Like, hey, we'll probably trade you at some point, but I just don't see it happening unless Vea is really willing to take less money. And I will say one thing about Tampa Bay. They're very stingy as far as their contracts, and they seldom, go back and reconsider things. And that's, again, the case with Vea and Baker. Baker, honestly, I mean, this is just my opinion. He doesn't have much ground to stand on. He's been a very nice player for Tampa. He's revived his career there. He still is not an upper echelon quarterback, in my opinion. Still makes too many mistakes, isn't great in clutch situations. He needs this, to me, is a prove-it season for him. He doesn't, again, like I said, if I was him, I'd be going into this camp saying, hey, I'm not asking for a new deal. It's over. It's behind us. I'm going to prove that I deserve it by how I play this season.
And just to put a bow on that, because I do want to talk a little bit more about Tampa Bay and their coaching specifically here with you, Brian. But when you talk about, and the boys and I in studio were discussing in our opening segment, every deal in the NFL, it seems now, is just it's the new richest deal. And that's just this trend. And it doesn't matter if that player is actually the best at their position. Now, you made a good point. Jalen Carter is probably the closest to that realm if we're talking about this selective group of guys, because Denzel Ward, probably a top 10 DB still at this point.
Yeah.
I would say Carter, as you said, certainly top 5, maybe top 3 guy. But with Baker Mayfield, man, we know how important the quarterback position is, but could you really envision a world, whether it's in Tampa Bay or elsewhere, where when his next contract comes across, it all of a sudden exceeds now beyond what we've seen quarterbacks make, just because that's the trend we're going on? And if you're a capable NFLer, that's what happens.
You see, the weird thing is, and I'm going to give credit to Brady, not that he needs more credit for anything he's done. He's pretty well documented his life. But him and Drew Brees, I still remember this in COVID. We were the only game in town, NFL offseason back then. I mean, it was kind of insane because everything shut down, but free agency was thriving. And that was specifically a crazy offseason. And that's when we had Brady sign with Tampa. We had Drew Brees, re-sign with the Saints for kind of his final go-around. And both guys signed deals that were 20 to 25. I think it was 1 year, $25 million, or 2 years, $25 million, something like that. But basically, they kind of reset the market for veteran quarterbacks who are no longer getting top dollar. But the odd thing was Brady had already made his money. Brees had already made his money. Rodgers is now playing for considerably lower wages than he did during his MVP seasons, even though he's still playing at a relatively high level. Baker hasn't really gotten those massive paydays, so he's not going to, in my opinion, settle for something like 20 to 25 million unless this season really doesn't go as planned. I think that is what's going to happen, though. I don't think this is going to be great necessarily for him. Tampa could be a situation, or Minnesota, if things don't work out with Murray and Tua respectively, and Penix. I still think for Baker, there's probably going to be a couple of more teams that are still interested after this year, especially if he plays well. The max I could see him ever making would be like that. So after the 20, 25 million veteran deals that we've seen, the next floor is 40 million. Maybe 40 million, but more realistically, I think would be a 2-year, $50 million, $60 million kind of situation if Baker Mayfield plays really well. I just don't see him ever getting near the $50 million range that we're seeing some of these other guys getting.
And Brian, Todd Bowles, it's been a bit of a weird ride. I was very surprised to see them retain him at the end of last season, especially with the glut of coaches that kind of ended up becoming available with so many teams moving in new directions. But if I had to ask you, which head coach across the NFL has the hottest seat to open up this season? And then maybe in turn or in addition to that, which one do you think is the first that will be fired this year? Let's go multiple choice on this one. And I'll say Todd Bowles, Aaron Glenn, Zach Taylor, or other. And you can write in your own answer on that one if you so choose.
I think Zach Taylor's got to be pretty high. I don't think they re-signed his contract. I think he's getting down to the end of his contract with Cincinnati. They don't fire head coaches there, but they just don't re-sign contracts. Kind of similar to the Steelers, but I think that yeah. I mean, it's clearly now win or else. I mean, you've got a guy like Joe Burrow. His second year gets you to a Super Bowl. You haven't been back to the playoffs since 2022, and a lot of that, yeah, that's been Joe Burrow's injuries, but also, I mean, that defense was historically putrid last year, and I think they're going to be a lot better with Al Golden, but. And they're talking of the game. I mean, as most teams are at this time of the year, but the Bengals sincerely mean it. They feel like with Joe Burrow and his weaponry on offense and everything they have and the retooled defense and Al Golden back for a second year as DC, they've got everything to win, and they do. And that's a very winnable division. Taylor's the only returning head coach in that division. I think for him, he would be my number one guy. And I really could see Cincinnati making a change at midseason if they're like 2-6 or 1-7 or something like that. And there's really no, even if Burrow got hurt, guys, that's not an excuse anymore. I think they're now in a no excuse situation with him. I think Bowles would be right after that, because to me, he is an elite defensive coordinator. He's such a good defensive mind. Offensively, though, and I still don't understand, if you're him, and I've always felt this about any coach that is a specialist on one side of the ball, you've got to get a guy that's basically a genius on the other side to run things for you. And the fact that they've gotten young assistants offensively for him doesn't seem to. I think the most important thing an head coach can do is hire staff. I really do, and I don't think Bowles has had enough offensive help, especially since Cohen has left, to kind of supplement the things that he doesn't know on offense because he's mostly a defensive guy. So I would say he would be another guy that I would absolutely say is under the hot seat.
And last one for you, I'm going to write in my own option and see if there's any smoke to it. Do you think Dan Campbell's seat in Detroit is a tall warm here to open things up this season?
No, for sure. And no, I totally agree. And that's another situation. I will give him a lot of credit because I think that they made a lot of changes offensively after how last season went. And Ben Johnson, I mean, we all kind of knew, he's going to leave. That's going to create a lot of issues for Detroit. I think for Campbell, it's hard. I love his gunslinger. Let's go for it on every fourth down. I love it. But that seems to have backfired more recently. And I think when you've got a team that may not have as much firepower as you had previously, you need to maybe rein in a little bit more, play the percentages, be a little bit more conservative. I hate saying that. I don't play golf that way. I don't do anything that way. That's why I deleted the gambling app I had. But I just think that, I think that, yeah, I mean, no, I totally agree with you. I mean, it's funny because you look at his track record, he's easily the most successful Detroit coach in like over 50 years, right? Yeah. But once they lost the NFC Championship game, and a part of that was because of their fourth down gambles that didn't pay off, now the pressure's back on him. And yeah, I mean, again, he's more of a defensive guy. He needs help on offense. I know they've changed some personnel coaching-wise on offense. So I think for me, the biggest thing with them is going to be, navigating through that division. They got to get healthy. Injuries killed them like the Buccaneers last year. And I think the biggest thing here, guys, with Detroit and Campbell is they run very physical training camps. I would say them and Mike Tomlin's training camps in Pittsburgh were two of the hardest, most physical ones that still exist in 2026. They were very much throwback camps. Campbell really said they would make adjustments, but not really. Like if we see the guys that are beat up, we might go easier on them, but they still plan to practice the way they always have. I absolutely think that contributed to a lot of the injuries we've seen with them. And the Steelers with McCarthy, they've changed. They pivoted. He goes, we're not going to the ground during training camp, which is for the Steelers. That's like saying we're going to wear pink jerseys this season instead of black and gold. That is so different from their MO and everything they do. So yeah, I think, Campbell, if things don't go well and if they have even more injuries, and because he hasn't changed his practice habits, he's on the hot seat as well, for sure.
Brian, excellent insight. Appreciate your time this morning, and we will look forward to catching up with you again as the season gets underway here. And man, it's right around the corner. We're all pretty pumped for it.
Yeah, it is, and I'll keep apprised of my Blue Jackets, so next time I'm a little bit more informed.
Good stuff, Brian. Take care. Have a good one, man.
You too. Thank you.
Brian Diardo, CBS Sports, covering the NFL, and it's crazy. It's like one day into training camp, like with every team in practice. We tried it with Howard Ballsy yesterday. A few teams got an earlier start because of their scheduling and things, but every team now underway, and it's immediately just back to every headline: NFL this, NFL that. And hey, I'm buying right into it. I love it. I'm looking very much forward to this season. So many coaching changes. As you said, Zach Taylor, the only retained coach in the AFC North. Will he be the first one fired this season, Donovan?
Yes. By a mile, yes.
See, I'm actually on the other side because I just think the Bengals will be that much better, that they will like play good enough to keep along. And I want to say Aaron Glenn, but I think the Jets might just say, nope, ride this out. We want to be last. Josh has a gun in his mouth, a pretend one. Should make that. He's got the double barrel finger gun in his mouth as a much tortured Cincinnati Bengals fan.
I'm just like, he was actually the biggest surprise to me that he survived.
I think Todd Bowles was the bigger surprise.
For me,
the Bucks finished last year like 2-7.
I know they did, but
the Carolina Panthers won that division, Donovan.
I was shocked with both of them surviving. But for me, like, how many chances can Zach Taylor possibly have? Yeah. This guy is out there like Neo in the Matrix, dodging every single bullet that comes his way. And it makes absolutely no sense to me. For such a guy who, I think he makes really questionable decisions. I've never really understood Zach Taylor. I don't know how the Bengals still don't see it. But that's why bad franchises stay bad.
It's very true. It's a very good point. When we come back, we will check in on yesterday's news that came down kind of at the end of our show about the new agreement on the TV rights between Sportsnet, Rogers, and Amazon and Prime Video. We'll dive into that. Also, your text messages, 1-833-401-1440. We'll get to some of those. And then top of the hour, Mark Spector, 820. Zach Lang will talk some hockey and miscellaneous potpourri stuff with those two fine gentlemen in the 8 o'clock hour. It's the Tom Gazzola Show on Sports 1440. Brandon Douglas sitting in for Tommy, Donovan Paulson, Josh Femick alongside as well. Show brought to you by Bet365.
Everything is going to be okay. If your debt has you feeling like you're in a free fall, you have options. I'm Dan McDicken, a licensed insolvency trustee with Faber. Becoming debt-free is possible, and a personal bankruptcy or consumer proposal will get you there. Schedule your free Faber Focus session at faber.ca today. You'll learn how a consumer proposal allows you to eliminate your debt by paying a percentage of the amount owed without interest. At Faber, we'll tackle your debt.
Kickoff is coming August 1st. Elks, Rough Riders at Play Alberta Field at Commonwealth Stadium. The prehistoric party is back, presented by Purolator Tackle Hunger. Experience family-friendly fun all game long with a dinosaur-themed contest. Get your tickets at goelks.com/tickets.
Recently, our company softball team lost the big game by 1 run. Then Dale tried to console us with the quote, "Winning isn't everything." Well, Dale and I are very different. I get early payout for Bet365. If my team goes up big, I get paid out instantly, even if they blow the lead later. Sound familiar, Dale? Thanks, Bet365.
Must be 18 or older. If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. Standard message and data rates may apply. T's and C's apply.
The Bricks 55th Birthday Bash continues with big savings store-wide. Save on furniture, mattresses, appliances, and electronics. Plus, take 55 months to pay with 0% interest on furniture and mattresses, or 36 months on appliances and electronics on approved credit. Find up to 30% off bedroom packages, up to 40% off select mattresses, and don't forget, you could be one of 275 winners with over $155,000 in prizes to be won. Hurry in. The Birthday Bash ends July 29th at the Brick, saving you more.
You wanted local sports on weekends. Saturday mornings at 9, check out the Saturday Sports Setup, where we'll tee up what's happening on the weekend sports scene. Tune in Saturday morning at 9 on Sports 1440.
Want to invest in Alberta's workforce, fill your talent pipeline, and get funding?
Careers. The next generation connects employers with motivated, pre-vetted youth through funded internships. Easy, impactful, and risk-free.
When you work with a group like Careers who have experience in that area, they can demystify and navigate all the complex steps and stakeholders that have to be involved.
Visit careersnextgen.ca today.
Hello, Edmonton. Did you know the Subaru Forester has earned an IIHS Top Safety Pick Award or higher for 20 years running? With advanced eyesight driver assist technology, 360-degree surround view monitor, driver-focused technology, and of course, the legendary Subaru symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive all working together. And it's available as a hybrid, delivering fuel efficiency as low as 6.8 liters per 100 kilometers. Visit your nearest Subaru dealer and test drive the Subaru Forester today. Welcome to Uncommon.
Caesars is Alberta's anytime, anywhere sportsbook. Stay in the action with your favorite teams and players. Whether you're camping, kayaking, or catching a show this summer, bet wherever you are, whenever you want. Plus, Caesars Sportsbook offers fast payouts and flex parlays, a new way to keep your bet alive even if a pick misses. Download the Caesars Sportsbook app today.
Must be 18 or older and physically present in Alberta to gamble. Must be 21 or older to use Caesars Sportsbook. If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. Standard message and data rates may apply. Please play responsibly.
$7:51. Welcome back to the Tom Gazzola Show on Sports 1440. Brandon Douglas, Josh Fenwick, Donovan Paulson, and Cam Tate joining us in studio. He's camped out at his office in the corner here. I goaded him into coming in yesterday with some trash talk on air, and he rolls in pretty well right at 7 bells. Perfectly on cue. Just goes to show you things like that can work sometimes. Some motivation. Didn't want Tater just sitting at home, staring out the window at the rain all day. 7:52, text lines 1-833-401-1440. A few messages floating in. McDavie says, got to be Zach Taylor, and talking about the first coach likely to go this year. Was surprised he made it to this offseason, especially with all the turnaround inside the division. King of Fort Nasty. Morning, Duke, Donnie P. and Fenny. If the exec was running the team, he ensures wanted RFA signed, or he ruins their career. Donovan, is this true?
Oh yeah. Yeah. If I had to deal with a guy like William Nylander,
you'd be then like floating stuff out to the insiders like Friedman and company, just being like, this guy's, doesn't pet his dog and just trying to absolutely sewer him.
Yeah, he hates puppies.
Yeah.
Nothing
kind of too crazy, but just enough to maybe warrant a little, eyebrow raise or second look from other teams, other GMs, and maybe the general public.
Exactly.
Well.
Exactly. There, you can't stand for holdouts. You can't let those things go by us. So you really got to put the hammer down. And my first move would be he hates puppies.
Jay and Victoria, our buddy out on the coast, always great text messages. And this one perfectly tees up the quick little thing I wanted to touch on before we get to spec at the top of the hour. This is from Jay. Tied into the Amazon and Sportsnet agreement, I now pay $349, that's annually, for Sportsnet Plus or whatever it's called. Last year, it was $299. Didn't even get all the games because of Amazon, which I ended up paying for separately. So the question is, how many more games this year will be on Amazon, and why can't there just be a price to watch your team's games, i.e. Oiler Channel, Gene, Louie, and Jack all year? From Jay. Jay, great text. In case you did miss it yesterday, later in the morning, an announcement came out from Rogers and Sportsnet that they have a new partnership with Amazon Prime Video to basically part out or source out a collection of their 12-year deal. And this is a 12-year agreement, so it's the entirety of the new rights that they got. That includes 26 regular season games. Last couple of years, it's been Amazon Monday Night Prime Hockey. I think Amazon wanted a little bit of a bigger piece of the pie. They will now be Wednesday night games which had been a staple for Sportsnet for a number of years past, where that's kind of been a prime night. And now we'll go, I believe Wednesday's a big night for the American networks too. ESPN/TNT, one or the other, maybe. I can't recall. Might have to fact check that one. But it's 26 regular season games. And then here's kind of the kicker to me. 2 first-round playoff series and 1 second-round series. Okay? Now, last year, and even the year before to an extent too, we got a lot of messages regarding the Oilers because the Oilers played quite a few games on these Monday night broadcasts where it is exclusively on Prime Video. It's a Canadian rights thing. And people would say, well, I'm not buying another service, right? Like, I either have cable with my Sportsnet package, maybe I have Sportsnet Plus like Jay and myself. And they say, I'm not shelling out more coin to watch one game a month, maybe ends up being a handful of games a year that I'm interested in, right? They'll say, I'm just punting on that. I'll catch the highlights on Sportsnet Central. All the power to them. That's great. But now you roll in this playoff factor. And to me, it is a no doubt, like Amazon, this would have been a non-negotiable for them in this deal. To say, if people know they're not going to be able to watch an entire playoff series, and if it's, let's say, Carolina and Ottawa. Now, we saw Carolina go on to be the Stanley Cup champions, but were a lot of people really tuned in, enthralled into Carolina and Ottawa? That, to me, is a series that would have been on Prime Video, like the secondary rights holder. It just screams it to me. But just use myself as the most obvious example. I watch every playoff game of every series. Sometimes they're not at the same time. You got to go dual screen, even triple screen. You know, you're giving up something a little bit in that respect. That's fine. I'm willing to accept that. But now that is suddenly off the table unless I buy another entire package or subscription. So now if you're the consumer, you say, all right, I want to watch my Oiler games that will be on some Wednesday nights, so I'll buy it throughout the year. And now I need to buy in the playoffs. Well, geez, I might as well just get the annual subscription, right? If you aren't already an Amazon subscriber, which comes with Prime Video, most people are, but not everyone. And it's the flip side of that, where I'm kind of taking the consumer side, and it's just more money spent and all that stuff. Yeah, Sportsnet raised their prices again this year. I know it firsthand. $345 plus taxes annually. That number 2 years ago was $75 less. Actually, more than that, sorry. $85 less. It has gone up each season, and you're getting nothing more from it. In fact, you're actually losing from it because there's less games on that channel, hockey specific. 26 games on Amazon only, and now 3 playoff series, 2 in the first round, 1 in the second round, and not there. The benefit is I'm appreciative of different broadcasts, different voices. You get a different perspective on the game without watching the same people call games every year. I like watching more than just one team's games, though, right? I'm not a diehard Oilers fan that only wants to listen to Jack, Louie, and Gene. I love those guys. I think they do a great job, but I don't only want to listen to them. It's personal. So feel free to text in your thoughts on it, 1-833-401-1440. We can get to it as the morning progresses and touch on it a little bit more into some of the numbers, specifics. You know, what is the cost now versus cable? Well, can't get Prime on cable, so you got to add it on anyway, no matter what. And some of the residual effects of this deal, which overall is good. It's more money in the game, but there are, of course, going to be drawbacks. Right after the break, Mark Spector will be with us from Sportsnet himself. We can chat a little bit about the new deal with Spec, and then at 8:20, Zach Lang will pop in as well. Before that, Sports 1440 update brought to you by AWS Welding Supplies in Nisku. Product sales, servicing, calibrating, and free same-day delivery of in-stock items to Leduc, Nisku, and South Edmonton. Your one-stop shop for all things welding, awswelding.ca. Here is Donovan Paulson.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
MLB action from yesterday. The Jays fell 8-6 to the Washington Nationals after Shane Bieber failed to get out of the first inning. The Guards in the doubleheader, they won one game 6-5 and fell 2-0 in the other one. The Marlins blanked the Phillies 1-0. The D-backs sneaking past the Pirates 8-7 in extras. The Tigers obliterate the Orioles 14-0, and the New York Yankees snuck past the White Sox 3-2. In case you missed the trio of NFL extensions from yesterday, the Eagles signed two-time Pro Bowler Jalen Carter to a 4-year, $152 million extension worth up to $160 million, including $106 million in guarantees, now making him the highest-paid defensive tackle in NFL history. The Browns and five-time Pro Bowl cornerback Denzel Ward reached a 2-year, $62.2 million deal, including $52.3 million in guarantees, making him the highest-paid DB in NFL history for the second time in his career. And the Vikings extend right tackle Brian O'Neill on a 4-year, $96 million deal. Coming up right after the break, it's Sportsnet's Mark Spector. I'm Donovan Paulson. That's your Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
It's the hard jobs that take know-how, expertise, and the right experience. And that's why, time and time again, GS Construction gets the call when it comes to the hard jobs. Underground projects that are genuinely difficult, like deep installs, tough ground conditions, or tight urban sites. So remember, when it's a hard job, the list gets short, and GS Construction is on it. Want to tackle the hard jobs? We're looking for experienced pipe layers and topmen. Visit gsconstruction.ca today.
It's cone season at McDonald's, which means vanilla cones are $1 each plus tax in the McDonald's app all summer long. Soft, creamy, and crunchy. For just $1 each plus tax exclusively in the McDonald's app. App download and registration required at participating McDonald's in Canada.
What's 426 divided by 12? Okay, if I carry the one, yeah, we're out. Go Auto has a free credit calculator that does the math for you. See what you could qualify for, estimate your payments, and get a better idea of what's in your budget. Because shopping for a vehicle is exciting, but crunching numbers, yeah, not so much. Text CHECK to 780-777-7777. That's CHECK to 780 all sevens.
For all your welding supplies, think AWS Welding. Located in Nisku, their readily stocked storefront carries a wide variety of welding glasses, cylinder rentals, plus welding rod, wire, and consumables. Same-day delivery is always available. And if they don't have it, AWS Welding will find it for you fast. Visit their online store today at awswelding.ca or give them a call or text at 780-979-0470. AWS Welding. They make it happen.
Yeah, it's me again. And if you're sidelined with a sports injury, you already know nothing's more frustrating than being told to just rest. At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, we get athletes moving sooner with our zero-gravity treadmills. You can run, train, and rebuild strength with up to 80% less body weight, so your injury heals while your confidence comes roaring back. When your sports injury's yelling, whisper back, leadingedgephysio.com, because life shouldn't hurt.
Summer weekends in Alberta mean one thing: tournament season.
I brought the folding chairs. I brought the sunscreen. I brought the umbrella, just in case.
But who brought the snacks to get through a doubleheader?
I got Alberta's best beef jerky.
Wilhauk Beef Jerky, the ultimate sideline fuel. Whether you're cheering on the kids or watching the pros, load up on Alberta's best beef jerky.
Wilhauk Beef Jerky, because you can't have summer fun with salad. Only available in Leduc.
The Tom Gazzola Show on Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440.
Presented by Bet365. Alberta, we are here to stay.
Welcome back to the Tom Gazzola Show on Sports 1440, brought to you by Bet365. Brandon Douglas in for Tom this week. Donovan Paulson, Josh Fenwick, Even Cam Tate all hanging around in studio this morning as well. Just after 8 o'clock, which means time for On the Mark, brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Is employee pricing really a good deal? Yes. Yes, it is. This month, shop at Northgate, and you pay what they pay all month at northgategm.com. We welcome in Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet. And Spec, since we last spoke, your employer making some pretty big waves across the hockey landscape, this new deal with Amazon Prime and Prime Video, expanding some TV rights here in Canada, 26 regular season games, some playoff rounds. I know it's a little bit, I'm sure give it the glowing review, but, just from a hockey fan perspective, what did this make any resonance in your camp of a new place to take in some games on a different night of the week than we've seen in the past couple of years with Amazon?
Yeah, this is, this is our world, isn't it? This is, Rogers has to pay, so much money. What was it like? Where were we at? The first deal was $5 billion. The second deal was like $12 billion or something like that. So they pay that much, and then where do you think they're getting their money from? They pass it downhill. It's no different than the trucking company. Yeah, right. Like, that's how life works now. And I'm not saying it's fun or fair or awesome. It's no different than the trucking company that trucks, meat. Their gas goes up, so they charge the farmer more. The farmer's beef goes up, so he charges you more. And in the end, you're the consumer. You end up paying for the farmer's costs and the extra cost of diesel fuel, because we're the end of the line, you and me and all our listeners, right?
Mm-hmm.
So honestly, I'm not here to defend Rogers because I work for them. They bought the rights, and now they've parceled some of them off to try to make some money back, and that's just the business world. And you know what? Find anybody that likes it when the price goes up. Nobody wants the price to go up, right?
Exactly. And so, Spec, are you still at home like a cable guy? Like, do you have your cable package with all the Sportsnet channels, kind of, the sports add-on, or do you have more streaming packages for whether it be Sportsnet Plus or Amazon Prime Video and all that stuff? Where do you land, going back to our yesterday's conversation about, our particular age and vintage?
Yeah, right. I'm still a cable guy, not because I'm old, but because I sort of run two residences. We have a condo in the city and this little place at the lake here. So what it allows me to do is pay for cable in one place and get all that cable at the other place. So I'm kind of, you know what I'm saying? I run my TELUS app at the lake.
Mm-hmm.
And I get everything that I pay for in the city. So it kind of almost knocks the price in half for me. So for me, that works. If you've got one residence, listen, the instances of cable cutting, this is why we're at where we're at, because everybody has cut, not everybody, tons and tons and tons of people have cut cable. We don't do the typical cable package. And I guess I'd remind you that back in the days when we all had Shaw or TELUS or, whatever the cable company was, we were paying $150 a month for cable, right?
Mm-hmm.
Something like that, depending on how much stuff you got. And that gave you all your TSNs and all your Sportsnets and all your news channels and all that stuff. But, so now we all cut that. I mean, people have cut that because it's too expensive. We don't want that bill every month. I totally get it. So now you got to parcel up. So, if you're a CFL person, you got to buy your TSN app, right? Whatever they call it, TSN Plus or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a hockey person, you got to buy Sportsnet if you want to watch hockey. So in the end, it's starting to come back to the place where by the time you buy all the stuff you need, you're probably at $150 a month where you used to be when you had cable and dumped it, right? So, I don't know what to tell you, man.
Yeah, it's as you kind of led this conversation with Spec, I think it's more just a sign of the times where, guess what? Everything is more expensive. That has been no secret as we've moved into a post-pandemic world where the inflation was obviously crazy. And now it doesn't change if you're a sports fan or if you're an anime fan or whatever. It's just whatever you're consuming, whether it be on TV or your screens or where in person. Look at concert ticket prices, for goodness sake. Everything is just more expensive. And as frustrated as we, the consumer, are And I'll put myself very much in this camp. I was just saying before you came on, Spec, like I got the email last week from Sportsnet. My subscription is going up in price again this year for the annual pass.
Yep.
After the year previous, it went up by the $75 or whatever. And I don't like it, but also what else am I to do? Like, is it cheaper to switch back to cable and you're not going to get the same access? Because I like to watch a lot of out-of-market games. This is the avenue. This is the route. This is the only way to do it because they hold the rights and they paid a lot of money to get them. I guess they can do with it as they see fit.
Well, really, that's the reality of our world. Like, I guess in terms of value, what are you paying for Sportsnet for a year? Almost $400.
My new rise is $345 plus taxes.
Okay, so I'm bad at math. 400 is too much, but let's say it's 400.
Yeah, just under $400. Yeah.
Okay. All the 400. How many games do you get? Like, I guess my point would be this. I grew up in
Amazon is what I would get because
so let's say there's going to be how many Oiler games are going to be on Amazon this year? Like 5 or 6?
Yeah, sure. Let's just use that as a rounding number.
Let's just use that for fun. So let's say for fun, you're going to get roughly 80 Oiler games for roughly $400. So, I get it. That's $5 a game, but you also get about, how many hundred other games, right? Listen, I don't want to come across as a guy that works for Sportsnet that's trying to sell the product or telling you it's a good deal. I get it. Hockey fans we all got used to watching it for free. Like hockey used to be free. Well, guess what? CBC used to get it for almost nothing, and ITV or whoever used to do it used to get it for almost nothing and sell some ads and make money on it. Now it costs Rogers $12.5 billion to get the rights to this stuff. And guess what? They're not giving it to you for free anymore. That's just, I know it's crappy. I liked it better when it was free too.
No
but
doubt.
You can't sit here in 2026 and wonder why I'm not buying things for the same price that I did in 2015 or to the year 2000. Like, go to Costco and pick up a steak, folks, right? A decent steak is a $20 bill all day long now. That's just what it is. And that's not a bad price anymore. I hate paying that, but I like steak. So guy has to make a choice.
You're right. And don't get me wrong, Spike. I'm not trying to put you in a spot here where you need to try and defend or come across as neutral. Like it's just the facts, right? Like these are numbers that we are privy to, that they're factual. So let's try and spin it in a different direction and look at it, what this can provide in value. Like if you are going to now go out and get your Prime Video month to month or yearly subscription and watch these games. Like I was just saying before the break, I like watching games with different broadcast teams. And that's whether it's a different team altogether or different, national broadcast tandems or groups coming in to cover Oilers games, other games. Doesn't matter. I enjoy that little bit of diversity and different perspectives on the game when I'm watching at home from the comfort of my couch. Now, you're at the vast majority of home games and a good chunk of road games too. But when you do get to watch games on TV, Oilers or otherwise, do you agree with my perspective, or do you like the old school version of this is my home team's broadcast, I want to watch them for all 84 Oiler games?
And no, like that's I'm with you. Like I like like let's say the Oilers are on the West Coast, or let's say the Oilers aren't playing tonight. I love a Leafs game at 5 or a Bruins game at 5 and a Sharks or Ducks game at 8. Like I'm all over that, man. That's great. So, like I guess it's perspective. Like what's a ticket to AC/DC going to cost here in Commonwealth? When you go to the,
I could send a message coming up. I know somebody that's going, but I would not have no idea to tell you.
Whatever. It's for these days, a top show is $400 all day long, right? You want to go see Morgan Wallen, you want to go see AC/DC, you want to go see, forget Taylor Swift. It's $400 for one night. So you are getting 12 months or however many months of hockey and however many games you get. How many games would you get on the Rogers package all told? Like, 950 games or something? I don't know what the number is, but So listen, everything's expensive. So that's just, but yeah, I'm a guy that wants to watch out of market games too, for sure. And I know people are sitting in their cars right now saying, technically Rogers has to get better. I get kicked off my app and all that. And that's on Rogers.
Yeah.
If you're getting kicked off your app, if you're not enjoying the presentation technically, that's insufficient. If I'm paying for that service, it better damn well work right.
Yeah.
So I'm with you on that. If that's an issue you're having, you should be phoning Rogers and grousing about it because you're paying for a service and you should get it. But I think the operative words in that statement is paying for a service. We pay for services now. We don't just turn on a Saturday night hockey game with the family for free like they did in 1975 and, hang around the fireplace with mom and dad. Like, sorry, folks, those days are over.
Indeed, they are. And I don't know if you recall, Spec, but this was probably 2 years ago now when same thing, I was sitting in for Kevin, and I asked you to run it up the flagpole at Sportsnet because, once again, on my service, I love the ability to watch like the split screen on it was via the Apple TV modem thing, and I could watch technically 4 games on my TV at once in the 4 boxes. And I asked you to run
DAZN has that.
DAZN has that. Sportsnet did, now they don't, and that is where one of my frustrations lie. And same thing, send some emails. You hope that they improve it, make it better, but unfortunately, we're just kind of at their mercy there. Hopefully, they do so. Get the bang for your buck and watch as many hockey games as you want.
You can't just improve the price and not improve the product.
Right.
If your price is going up every year, your product should get more innovative and get better and have new tweaks and give me a couple fresh options, right? So that's on Rogers. They're providing a product and it needs to, it needs to be worth it. It needs to be a good product. This is so far above my pay grade, it's not even funny. But I'm with you.
On these meetings.
When I watch, I love that. Yeah, no, are you kidding me? I can't even get a call back from the people that go to these meetings.
Oh goodness. So Spec, well, that was that pretty well. It's an interesting discussion. It's topical, right? We're not getting much else hockey news wise, but this came across the wire, so it's certainly worth discussing with you. But what else is going on with you out at the lake? You're doing a pretty slow week. You got any events planned? It's August long weekend coming up, right? So anything big cooking out at Alberta Beach?
Yeah. August long weekend, they have something out here called Polynesian Days.
Right.
And it's just a reason to have a parade, get to watch the Shriners come out in their little mini bikes, driving figure eights. People come out. We have a nice parade. There's the little local bars have bands on Friday, Saturday night. Probably an extra meat draw along the way. So it's fun. People drink out of pineapple glasses and, you kind of pretend like wear a flowery shirt.
Sure.
Yeah. It's rural Alberta. That's really stepping out. That's stepping out to wear a flowery shirt around here.
A lot of multiculturalism well at work there. And sorry, I apologize if you said this and I missed it. Did you, like you said, meat draw and stuff, but is it like in the Polynesian theme, you got like a pig roast or something going too?
Yeah. No. It's still like steaks and pork chops and the breakfast sampler.
Over your years, though, Spec, you would have had like a spit roasted pig, like right there in front, like at some event or something you've been to. Have you had that before?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I have a buddy. His name is Doug Wolf. He's an awesome guy, and he puts on every summer. It's coming up again end of August. He puts on a pig roast, and we all trek over to Doug's with our coolers. He's got a beautiful acreage, and he loves this like this. He lives for this, man. He puts that pig on a spit. And that thing's just rotating like all day over the coals, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'd say to you. I think it's like I'm not one of these guys that wants to put something on my smoker and watch it sit there for 12 hours before I eat. Like, call me lazy, but I'm glad guys like Doug exist because when he cooks that pig, man, it's awesome.
You and me both, Spec. I'm the same way. Like, I have no interest in taking 12 hours to slow cook a brisket or a roast. But when my buddies do it, I'll be the first one there with my plate out, enjoying it and bringing a cold case of beer.
Holding the plate in line, eh?
Spec, good stuff. Have a good afternoon.
Yeah, well, you know what?
Chat out with you tomorrow.
I was going to say, with the cost of hockey these days, we're all looking for a free meal once in a while.
Exactly,
so no kidding.
Exactly. Awesome. Have a good one.
All right, man.
Mark Spector on the mark, Rogers Sportsnet, powered by Northgate. This truck's for you. When we return, Zach Lang from Daily Faceoff, Oilers Nation. We can talk a little Oilers off-season scuttle with Zach. What's catching his eye? What's on his mind? What's keeping him up at night? And I know Zach, a big Canadian football fan as well, so maybe we can check in on a little Elks chatter, too, with Zach Lang. For our headliner of the day, when we return here on the Tom Gazzola Show on Sports 1440, streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch, and brought to you by Bet365.
Coming August 1st, Elks, Rough Riders at Play Alberta Field at Commonwealth Stadium. The prehistoric party is back, presented by Purolator Tackle Hunger. Experience family-friendly fun all game long with a dinosaur-themed contest. Get your tickets at goelks.com/tickets.
Recently, our company softball team lost a big game by 1 run. Then Dale tried to console us with the quote, "Winning isn't everything." Well, Dale and I are very different. I get early payout for Bet365. If my team goes up big, I get paid out instantly, even if they blow the lead later. Sound familiar, Dale? Thanks, Bet365.
Must be 18 or older. If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. Standard message and data rates may apply. T's and C's apply.
You don't just need property services, you need problems handled. HireGood provides cleanup, debris removal, site monitoring, and safety attendance across Edmonton. We reduce issues on your property, keep spaces safe, and take pressure off your team. We resolve real problems for businesses while creating real impact, because our team is built on second chances, and they show up every day ready to prove it. Visit hiregood.ca or call and mention Jason Greger for a first-time discount. HireGood. Stable jobs create stable lives.
You see it? Fusion Promo Marketing can make it. Fusion makes high-quality, memorable promotional products for businesses, sports teams, and corporate events. From vision to reality, get noticed and remembered. Fusion with a Z. Promomarketing.ca.
Bashaw Concrete Products. From concrete and septic tanks to blocks, precast water pads, Jersey barriers, and aggregates. Farmers, contractors, homeowners. Plan your next project at BashawConcrete.com. Family owned. Over 60 years pouring. Bashaw Concrete Products. Once again, start here. BashawConcrete.com.
Recently, our company softball team lost a big game by 1 run. Then Dale tried to console us with the quote, "Winning isn't everything." Well, Dale and I are very different. I get early payout for Bet365. If my team goes up big, I get paid out instantly, even if they blow the lead later. Sound familiar, Dale? Thanks, Bet365.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. 18 plus only. T's and C's apply.
The Tom Gazzola Show on Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440.
Presented by Bet365. Alberta, we are here to stay.
$8:22, welcome back to the Tom Gazzola Show on Sports 1440. Brandon Douglas in for Tommy G. Donovan Paulson, Josh Fenwick alongside as well. Cam Tate hanging around in the studio, and Tater is worked up this morning. He is incredibly worked up. I would love to hear guesses from the text line about what has Tater in such a tizzy this morning. 1-833-401-1440. The show brought to you by Bet365. Check out Bet365 early payout for baseball. When your team goes up by 5 runs, you get paid out immediately. No stress about blowing a big lead. Download the app and see what early payout's all about. And the benefit of that, especially if you're a Jays fan these days, you don't automatically lose when the other team goes up by 5 runs. You still have a chance at your comeback. But if you made the savvy bet, picked a big winner, no risk at the Cinderella story comeback, up by 5 runs, early payout from Bet365. Let's welcome back our good friend from over at Oilers Nation and Daily Faceoff, Zach Lang, as our headliner of the day, brought to you by Mr. Rooter Plumbing. Stepping up to the plate so you won't have to. For all your plumbing needs, go to mrrooter.ca. Zach, good morning. Appreciate it as always. You taking some time with us. How are things rolling in your world these days?
Hey, good morning. Yeah, things are good. It's been, pretty busy off season or start to the off season, but, starting to slow down a little bit here. So, just trying to find a way to enjoy the last little bits of summer, through August here, and then it's right back into hockey season.
Yes, I think we can say we've hit the dog days a little bit here, because even like with baseball, the MLB front, the Jays stink. You and I have talked about that several times already this summer. But also, like with the trade deadline coming up, it's pretty quiet. Like if someone tells me we're not going to see a ton of action until over the weekend here, maybe even not until deadline Monday. So it's pretty quiet, but reasons to be excited. The local football team's really good and all that jazz. But I want to start with you where I ended things with Spec just before the Zach. And yesterday's announcement about Rogers Sportsnet and their kind of sub-leasing of their TV rights for NHL hockey in Canada to Amazon Prime. Now, this is nothing new that Prime has had an agreement the past couple of years for this Monday night on Prime action, but this is an expansion, moving it to Wednesday and now including a couple playoff series in the first round and one in the second round too. What do you make of this? And are you on board with getting more, for lack of a bit of a better term here, diversity in the broadcast, in the sense that different people, different panels, different broadcasters? Or are you of the camp that when you're watching the game at home, road or away, doesn't matter, you kind of just want to see your staple of guys, the home broadcasters, calling games?
Give me the home broadcasters all the way. I understand where, the league is going as a whole right now and what's going on with the streaming rights. The U.S. deal is going to be up, in a couple of years here in short order. And, it seems like the sport of hockey is only growing faster and faster. The salary cap is flying up as we're seeing it right now. And a large reason for that is these, big TV deals that are happening, across the board here in Canada. So I understand the business angle of it, but it feels like the product is getting more difficult for some fans to kind of watch and follow, right? I mean, look at Sportsnet Plus raising their prices while broadcasting fewer games this year.
Yeah.
There's a lot of gripes that are more than fair that people have right now.
I find it difficult to disagree. And we just chatted with Spec and with the understanding, listen, Spec works for Rogers and all that, but even he can recognize like he's a consumer too. He watches games when he's not at them or on the road. And to me, and Spec brought this point up, which is the pertinent one, in my opinion, is like, if Rogers wants to take this route where they say, hey, here's some other games to another outlet where you also, by the way, you have to pay for that separately. Our prices are going up. I need to see an improvement in the quality of their product, whether that be like the streaming ability on Sportsnet Plus, right? The app usage, the interfacing. There used to be a way I could watch 4 games at once on Sportsnet Plus, and that has not been around for several years now in the split screen action, like quad box, essentially. Like stuff like that returning, where take this obscene amount of money that we're paying you, that I'm sure Amazon just paid you for the set of games, and improve the experience for your everyday user that is continuing to shell out their hard-earned money for your service.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, I think that's absolutely what they need to be doing here. The product, from Sportsnet has not been great the last couple of years here. The broadcast panels have been, okay, but it feels like there's so much more they can be doing. You catch the odd TNT broadcast, from down in the States, and the product that they're putting together there is significantly better on their broadcast than what we're getting up here in Canada, right? So again, it is totally one of those spots where they need to be reinvesting in the talent and the product to improve this experience for the consumer.
Zach Lang from Oilers Nation and Daily Faceoff, our guest here on the Tom Gazzola Show on Sports 1440. Now over to the local team itself, Zach, and the Edmonton Oilers. We've had John a couple times since a lot of the dust has settled, but with more time to, mull on things and maybe start to piece them together from a lineup perspective. Like the Oilers, as it stands right now, have an abundance of bodies for the number of roster spots available. And I'm talking, night to night basis, 18 skaters. So if I had to ask you, with the understanding we got training camp to go, so a little bit of preseason action for some spots to be duked out, starting on the back end, is it just too simple to say that Spencer Stastny will be the odd man out here, or do you think there might be a little more something to be said with the likes of Shakir Mukamadula and Ty Emberson kind of fighting for spots on that third pairing?
Yeah, I mean, I do think it's pretty easy to say that Stastny could be the odd man out here. You look at Emerson, a guy who kind of emerged last year, playing in a bigger role for the Oilers. I really liked his game. Solid shutdown, defensive sort of defenseman. Mukamadula, again, is a guy who we're kind of still waiting to see what he is exactly. He's a big guy, but he's not overly physical, but he skates well, but he's not a very efficient puck mover. He's put up a little bit of points, but not a lot. He's a guy who's still kind of a project at this point in time, despite the draft status or the draft capital, I should say, that the Sharks invested in him. I do think it's easy to say that Stastny's the odd man out, but how is he the odd man out? Do the Oilers risk throwing him on waivers? Do they potentially try and trade him? Could Emberson maybe be on the move too? I wouldn't like to see that per se, because as a right shot defenseman, I think that's important for that third pairing. But at the end of the day, we'll see what DJ Smith thinks of his blue line in short order.
And you mentioned the thing about what to do with Stastny or whichever defenseman, frankly, it is that does not grab that spot. And of course, you want to carry an extra body, but this is a team that, as of right now, is looking like it's going to be carrying 3 goaltenders for at least the beginning of the season, to kind of flesh things out and, gauge health and how everybody's playing, which means that's one less extra body to carry up front or on the back end. And unfortunately for the Oilers, like, they don't have a ton of players eligible to go down without needing to clear waivers. So is there a remedy to the situation that you think is most likely? Like, how do you see the Oilers allocating their available NHL roster space? Like, is it going to be 8 D-men, 3 goalies, and just 12 forwards, or how do you see them dicing up the numbers?
I mean, it's certainly a way that they could start the season, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, I think it's easier to risk losing some of the guys in the forward group on waiver than it is on the blue line, right? But the problem is with that is you're really just kicking the can down the road, right? Yeah. Because, at the end of the day, somebody is going to get hurt in that forward group, right? Then what do? Do you want to go 11-7? Probably not. It can happen, in a pinch, let's say. But let's just say there is a longer term injury where it's maybe not viable to go to 11-7, right? I mean, you look at early last season, the Oilers lost a couple of guys to injury in short order. So, then you're kind of forced into a situation where you have to make a decision, earlier on into the season, right? So I think the ideal scenario would be to kind of figure out how to carry your one extra forward and one extra defenseman, and then you got the 3 goalies, they're tending the pipes.
Now, one of those extra forwards and one of the few guys that is actually eligible to, go down without penalty is Ike Howard. And his spot on this team seemingly very much up for grabs and sort of in question a little bit because of some of the more the additional depth bodies that were brought in, right? With Matthew Joseph, we know Colton Dock was back, Kasper Kapanen returns, and he's got some versatility up and down. So if I had to ask you right now here at the end of July, Zach, if you were on Mike Babcock's staff, where would you be slotting Ike Howard on opening night or opening preseason, if we even want to dial it back a couple weeks previous to that?
Yeah, I mean, I still think the spot for Howard is on the third line, playing alongside Jason Dickinson and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Howard, still a young guy, but we kind of know what he is, right? He's a scoring threat. That is what he does best out there on the ice. So, he's going to learn that defensive side of the game a little bit more. Guys like Jason Dickinson and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins would be perfect for that, as 2 very veteran NHL players here. Who have played some very solid defensive hockey throughout their careers. And then having Howard down there to learn from them would be good for his development as a player, but it would also give that third line a bit of a scoring threat, right? I mean, Nuge isn't the 100-point man that he was a couple of years ago, but, Nuge is going to get you 50, 60 points every year, no problem, right? So I think there's an opportunity there to kind of have, a third line that can be a shutdown, checking line against the opposing top lines, but could still, find a way to score, a goal every 2 or 3 games here. And I think that could be really something that this Oilers club could need.
Zach Lang from Oilers Nation with us here on the Tom Gazzola Show on Sports 1440. Brandon Douglas sitting in for Tom this morning. So, Zach, you mentioned the third line possibility, and Dickinson and RNH seeming as the likely candidates to maybe line up beside him there. I brought this up with Tom a couple weeks ago that, like, in the past, I think a lot of Oilers fans and even those of us that kind of cover the team, we've had pushback about how the Oilers have handled development of young players at the NHL level, not putting them in the best position to succeed, right? Like you said, Ike Howard is a scoring player. He is an offensive player. Put him with players that can complement that skill set. And traditionally, a third line and certainly a fourth line don't really offer that outlet for him. But I'm very much in line with you that when you have a guy like Ryan Nugent-Hopkins who has upside, and Jason Dickinson, sure, his bread and butter is the checking side, but he's no slouch, right? He's not a grinder. He's not a banger. He's a guy that scored 10 plus goals several times over in his career, with one really good career year mixed in there too. So is that give you a little bit of comfort knowing that even if he's not playing in a top 6 with top 6 minutes, he's not playing with guys that are just muckers and bangers in the bottom 6?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's critical for Howard's development. The hope I think there would be that he kind of has a season like, Matt Savoy did last year, where, spends the first, half of the season or 2/3 of the season, however you chop it up, playing down on that third, fourth line, learning the game a little bit better, getting used to the NHL a little bit more. And then all of a sudden, maybe he can have that late season surge like Savoy did, right? Because at the end of the day, like Savoy had like 9 goals and 20 points in the first 55 games of the season and had as many goals and as many points down the stretch running the season out of the Olympic break in like 19 games played. He was a point per game player for the Oilers. So he really had a great rookie season that I think could kind of become the model and the framework for how to handle a guy like Ike Howard, and maybe even some other guys down the road too.
Now, is there any concern because Howard is one of few guys that can go down exempt of waivers? Like, let's just compare. You use Savoy as the comp, which I think is a good avenue and a good template to want to follow. But last year during most of this, especially the front half of the season, for goodness sake, like the Oilers' inconsistency at forward and Trent, like it was a battle for who had to play because you wanted a healthy scratch 2 or 3 guys every night, but you could only pick one out of them. And I'm not saying Savoy ever deserved to be in that camp because he touches the game in a few other ways with his defensive efforts. But is there any concern that Howard, if the production doesn't come even in those third line minutes, that all of a sudden he may be more prone to be sent down to Bakersfield because they've got these extra bodies just on standby, as we already talked about, with all these extra bodies hanging around?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, that's a situation that could play out, right? I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if Isaac Howard started the year in the American Hockey League and had to work his way up from there, sort of a thing. But again, when you kind of look at the roster construction of the Oilers right now, it really seems like they're going to be willing to give him a really good shot playing in the top 9 to start the season. I'll be curious to see if the Oilers try and make any other moves. They got a lot of cap space, and I just don't know if holding on to all of that right in the start of the year is the best way to go.
Zach Lang from Oilers Nation and Daily Faceoff with us here on the Tom Gazzola Show. So, Zach, outside of the world of hockey, Elks Fever, has kind of swept the city a little bit here. That huge win over Saskatchewan last week, and now the rematch at home Saturday night from Commonwealth. So those are 2 products. I know you got a lot of background in Canadian football, playing growing up and stuff like that. Have you too caught Elks Fever, and will you be in attendance Saturday afternoon at Commonwealth?
Yeah, I absolutely have caught the fever. It's been an electric start to the season here. I've been helping out Jason Greger with Elks Nation .ca here as well this season. So it's been really enjoyable for me to kind of get back into the CFL and get back into the Edmonton Elks. And man, I've been really impressed with what we've seen from them so far this season. Playing really good defensive football, and the offense is just finding ways to get it done every week. Sometimes it's not the prettiest performances out there. You're not going to have Cody Fajardo throwing for 510 yards every week, right? You're not going to have Justin Rankin, scampering for 200 yards every week, but the collective is getting the job done. And you can see the way that these players have really bought into what Mark Killam and his coaching staff have implemented here with this football team. It's been a really, really exciting start to the season.
Well, Zach, all I have to say is be thankful that you only have to edit Declan Kruger's pieces, because while he is a NAIT student, not necessarily renowned for its writing programs compared to maybe some other institutions in our city and beyond, be thankful you don't have to edit Eddie Steele's work, because he went to the U of M, so I'm not even sure if he can spell. So that might make life a lot more difficult. We'll keep Eddie just on the speaking side of things with all the great work him and Declan are doing over at Elks Nation, along with Gregor, yourself, and our buddy Brian Desjardins as well. Good stuff as always, Zach. Appreciate it, and we'll look forward to catching up again soon.
Hey, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Zach Lang, Oilers Nation, Daily Faceoff, and even some Elks Nation work helping out with making sure that they are up and running. And they need all the help they can get, because it's at a fever pitch, the excitement around the green and gold football team right now. Zach was our headliner of the day, brought to you by Mr. Rooter Plumbing. Batting 1,000 against leaks, MrRooter.ca. Some news coming down from Elliot Friedman just a minute ago. I'll just read it verbatim. Good morning. Another important piece of business getting done. Not exactly sure how it will look yet, but a Macklin Celebrini extension for the Sharks is closing in. Get your guesses in, because the word's not out there yet. What is Macklin Celebrini's extension with the San Jose Sharks? 1-833-414-1440. I want to field everybody's guesses. And if it gets announced before this show is over this morning, and all the texts are still relatively fresh in the inbox, so I have to go back and dig through them tomorrow, if the closest person will get a personal commendation from me. Why, you guys laugh like that's not a good thing? You'll also get a personal commendation from Cam Tate. How's that? Yeah, Tater's in.
That
Tater's
ups the
in.
value.
And we also got some text coming in on our previous texter question, which was, what has got Tate in a tizzy this morning? We will touch on that and field some responses to our question about Macklin Celebrini's new contract that, according to Elliot Friedman, is closing in on being completed, his extension with the Sharks for the number 1 overall pick. All that, more to come. Brogan Houston at the top of the hour talking Utah Mammoth for the Deseret News as well. Brandon Douglas sitting in on the Tom Gazzola Show. Donovan Paulson, Josh Fenwick, Cam Tate, all in studio. Watch the show. We're streaming it on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch, and it's brought to you by Bet365.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Car shopping sucks. That's right. Going back and forth 100 times just to get a price. Give me your credit card for a test drive. What's all these extra fees? That sounds ridiculous. At Northgate, we do things a little differently. Good deals on new, pre-owned vehicles, good people, and a great selection. Stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
There's still time to book your tournament at the Ranch Golf and Country Club.
As one of Alberta's top tourney courses, the Ranch makes hosting fun and easy for any group or business. No matter how unique or unusual, they'll accommodate your vision for an event no one will soon forget.
Start planning your tournament today at their beautifully landscaped course on the outskirts of West Edmonton. On-site event coordinators are here to help, but hurry, availability is limited and booking fast.
Visit theranchgolf.com.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado,
There's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique, family-owned, independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Does your bank do local? We do. When you bank with Vision Credit Union, you're banking with a rural Albertan cooperative that cares about the community where you live. There's no question. We actively support our rural communities at the local level through charitable donations, volunteerism, local team and event sponsorships, and by returning millions in profit shares to our members every year. Does your bank do that? We do local. Bank with Vision Credit Union. VisionCU.ca.
Alberta, this one's for you. Around here, trust takes a few winters. It's why players have known Jackpot City since 1998. Home to hundreds of exciting casino games, live dealer action, and new adventures waiting to be discovered. Jackpot City, nothing beats the original. Please play responsibly, 18 years or older, Alberta only.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca.
Feeling overwhelmed by debt? Concerned about what the next few weeks or months will bring for your finances? My name is Parveen Middleton. I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. You don't have to navigate this alone. Together, we can review your options and build a personalized plan to reduce your payments and get you out of debt, so you can breathe again. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to book your free consultation and discover your debt-free future.
First pitches, kickoffs, tip-offs. When the game is on, you call the shots. Whether it's a parlay after working all day or a straight bet and straight to bed, Betway has what it takes for you to bet the Edmonton way. So when it's your turn to play the Edmonton way with Betway. Play responsibly. Alberta only. 18+.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. Standard message and data rates may apply.
The Tom Gazzola Show with guest host Brandon Douglas on Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440.
Presented by Bet365. Alberta, we are here to stay.
Eight 45. Welcome back. Tom Gazzola Show, Sports 1440. Brandon Douglas in for Tommy G, Josh Fenwick, Donovan Paulson, and Cam Tate, all in studio. Been a busy show so far, surprisingly. This is dog days, man. And what a little nugget we get dropped on us midweek. Too bad David Schlemko's not going to be joining us as he is on holiday, because I'm sure he would love to dive into this news that just came across the wire. We kind of teased it going into break as Friedman reporting that it was close. And then our good friend, Frank Saravalli, tweeting out 2 minutes ago, the San Jose Sharks announce Macklin Celebrini contract extension. Everybody got their guesses in. We got one person that was exceptionally close. No name on it. Is that a first-time texter? No. Just a no-name texter. Would love a name. Otherwise, won't be able to give you your prize, which was a personal address from both myself and Cam Tate. The number for Macklin Celebrini is a 5-year deal, $18.8 million. I assume AAV, not total.
Your assumption would be correct.
Can you see a world, Donovan, where that's the total dollars in the deal?
Given that Vinny Desharnais got 4 years and $16 million total, a little 16.8, I don't think that that's the total dollars.
Oh, interesting.
No.
So this makes Celebrini the NHL's highest paid player. Of course, he still got 1 year left on his entry-level deal.
Yeah.
So that will be still a much prettier penny for the Sharks this season. Gives them a little wiggle room. Now, I don't want to be that guy. Does this at all complicate things for the Sharks? Well, they knew this was coming, right? He's your franchise player. Just had a MVP caliber season. Was a standout player at the Olympic Games. And they still went out and signed Jacob Trouba to an $8.25 million deal and took on Darnell Nurse at full freight. Now, both those deals expire in 4 years. Macklin Celebrini's new deal kicks in next year. They got room. They don't have an infinite amount of room. I think this is pretty interesting.
I'm actually shocked it was this high. I felt like he was going to go down the Sid and Connor McDavid type of path where I really don't care about being the highest paid player. Now he's officially the highest paid player in terms of AAV in the game. And for Celebrini, well, it's not 20 million like he could have taken. It is still putting the Sharks in a spot where, keep in mind, they still have to extend Will Smith.
Yes.
And that's a hell of a player. And if Will Smith stays, if they don't get a Will Smith extension done before the season, that could be a huge ticket itself. So for a team that is looking to potentially get themselves in the dance in the playoffs this year, I am kind of surprised that he went as big of a ticket as he did.
For this year, it's inconsequential.
Yeah, for this year, it's fine. But for the next number of seasons after this year, it gets maybe a little dicey. Like that blue line, I think we would all acknowledge, it's fine.
It's improved.
It's fine. It's kind of average. But man, when you take that much money, you're going to sign Will Smith. But after you sign Will Smith, you probably have what? Enough for, one other big addition, and that's it? Your big addition, really, after this deal kicks in, it's like Darnell Nurse and Jacob Trouba. Those guys are going to kill you.
Just for some perspective for our listeners, because Donovan's surprised by the number. I'm quite surprised, too. I had envisioned an $18 million-ish deal in the vicinity, but on a longer term. So, because what was when the Leo Carlson number came across, and keep in mind, Carlson, he's had a great start to his, he's not quite hit that level that Celebrini has, right? Like we just talked about Celebrini, he was MVP, finalist or near finalist this year. He got a lot of votes. The Olympics, leading his team by X amount of points compared to the next highest scoring player. He is, I think, based on current or accomplishments to date, more deserving of this $18 million plus number than Leo Carlson is. But Carlson's came via offer sheet. It's a very different situation. The term's the same. It's 5 years.
Walks him straight into free agency.
So here are some of the other guesses that came in on the text line. 1-833-401-1440. Eddie and Red Deer, 136 mil over 7 years. Guard Dog, 16 by 8. 5 years, 75 million. That's a 5-year 15 AAV from Kurt. Scuff Darren, 7 by 18. Nick and Grand Prairie, 2 traffic light. Weird text, Nick. I don't know what that emoji is on this small screen. BC Oilers, 7 years, 120 million. Husks, 16 by 5. Jay and Victoria, full term, 19 mil AAV. Josh and St. Albert, 5 by 17. That one's pretty close. Titan, 5 by 15, 16 over 5 years from Ken. Luke and Cowtown, 14.2 by 5 equals $71 million. Trying to follow the Crosby line of thinking there with some meaning of the numbers. Schwackhammer, 8-year deal. None of these are true. 20 mil by 7, said Lance. And then the closest one, Matty K. Congratulations. You win our guessing game. His guess was 5 by 18.5. That's pretty close. Much closer than I would have been. Got the term right. Was off the money by $300,000 a year. That's a really good guess.
Fantastic
and
guess.
And it came in before it was out there. Some of these other ones, and these were a little bit, Jason said, I'll say 18 and a quarter, a little higher than Leo's contract. That did come in a little bit later, so maybe Jason, I'm not accusing you of anything. Maybe you're trying to, you already saw it and tried to slide it in without being spot on. Lance on the south side said 20 by 7. Yeah, man, I'm quite surprised.
So for those of you at home wondering what their projection in cap looks like next year as a result of this deal, it's $34.7 million without a Will Smith extension done, which is going to knock off at least $10 million. Then you add in what will be a Colin Graff deal because he is an RFA. That's not going to be outrageous, but that's going to probably knock you down to somewhere in the teens. And then you look at they're only going to have 4 defensemen signed for next season. Not this season, but the season after.
Yeah. When Celebrini's money kicks in.
When his money kicks in, they're only going to have 4 defensemen signed. And those 4 defensemen are Nurse, Trouba, Kesselring, and Sam Dickinson. But then the problem arises of once Celebrini's money kicks in, then you're going to be looking to extend Michael Misa and Sam Dickinson.
And Yaroslav Askarov.
So like this, as much as you might hear 34.7 million and go, oh, they're fine.
At the rate things are going, that money
quick.
disappears pretty quickly.
That is going to be gone in the snap of a finger. That is like, it's a lot of money, but once Will Smith's extended and Colin Graff gets his deal, that's going to be gone down to probably 19, 18 million, maybe a little less. Like, I just don't know what Will Smith's extension is going to look like. I expect that to be at least $10 million. So, got to sign a top 4 defenseman then, because Orlov goes to UFA again. Like, they're going to be in a spot where they might be the Anaheim Ducks.
And MTR, of course, has to, take his shot. Says, oh, thanks for pointing out the obvious that Carlson isn't as good as Celebrini. Well, the money tells us that they're close. What do we always do? We always look at comparables. And listen, I'm not blind. Like 100% right now, Celebrini is a better player. Does that mean he will be forever? Like a lot of stuff for Carlson points in that direction. But the issue, or no, issue is not the right word. My pushback would be, when Carlson signed his deal, everyone went at Anaheim, and for good reason. The reason it got to that point, the offer sheet, all that stuff. The defense is still in shambles. They said, well, they're totally hooped. They do not have the same commitment to other guys. Like they're going to need a new deal for Seneca and all the other, like eventually maybe Roger McQueen, right? It never ends. But the Sharks went into this and then still acquired Darnell Nurse at full freight and signed Jacob Trouba to that $8.25 million deal.
I would have been fine with one of them.
Like that's and they needed to improve their defense, right?
Yeah,
like that was
big time,
100% true. So you have to give credit to Mike Greer for being aggressive and saying we need to take that next step. But that is a lot of money to take on for a pair of players that are they top pairing D-men? Either one of them?
They're second pairing defensemen.
Trouba played a lot on the top pair last year with Jackson Lacombe.
I think both of them are number 4 defensemen, if we're being honest.
I don't disagree with that. Like I like a lot of what each guy brings to the table, right?
Yeah.
But the Sharks, unless Sam Dickinson takes a huge jump this year, which then carries its own problems because you're going to have to pay him that much more. Like, I'm on record on this show saying that I thought Celebrini would go a little bit more of the quote-unquote hometown discount route. And in real time when discussing it, I fully admitted that it was Canadian bias that led me to that. Right?
Yep.
Crosby did it. McKinnon did it. These are the guys. Even McDavid did it, right? And McKinnon Celebrini, has been kind of connected to Crosby, going back to their time playing together World Championships, the McKinnon stuff. But you look at these three Canadian superstars, the three best of this generation, sort of separate generations, they all pretty obviously took smaller contracts to give their team a best chance to win. Celebrini is a hell of a good player, number one center with a bullet. I believe he will be worth this money. It's not an overpay to me based on changing landscapes, but it is certainly no discounted rate.
Completely agree. Couldn't agree more. It's not an overpay. He's worth his money. It's just he kind of takes his team and screws them over a little bit.
So we can get into this as the word. We got to get to break here. Yeah. We can continue to break this down as the morning progresses. But right after the break, Brogan Houston out of the Deseret News down in Utah covers the Mammoth. We'll get his thoughts on this because it's just shock value right now, and then kind of parse that in together with what the Mammoth have done so far this offseason. What's their trajectory after a trip to the playoffs this past season? Before that, Sports 1440 update brought to you by Sean Cunningham of Remax Real Estate. Get the home team advantage for your next move in the Edmonton area. If you're thinking about buying or selling a home, call or text Sean directly. 780-265-0165. Here is Donovan Paulson.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
The breaking NHL news that we were, of course, just talking about, the Sharks extending Macklin Celebrini on a 5-year, $94 million extension and $18.8 million AAV. Of course, yesterday's MLB action, the Jays fell 8-6 to the Nats after Shane Bieber failed to make it out of the first inning. The Tigers killed the Orioles 14-0. The D-backs snuck past the Pirates 8-7 in extras. The Phillies were blanked 1-0 by the Marlins, and the Cubbies destroyed the Cardinals 10-2. In case you missed it, couple NFL deals yesterday. Denzel Ward becomes the highest paid corner in NFL history for a second time in his career. $52.3 million guaranteed, $62 million total. And Jalen Carter, it is a 4-year, $152 million extension worth up to $160, but including $106 million in guarantees. Coming up right after the break, we've got Brogan Houston. Talk a little Utah Mammoth. I'm Donovan Paulson. That's your Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
It's Dollar Drink Summer at McDonald's. Sip on a refreshing small fountain drink or a small iced coffee for just $1 each plus tax, all summer long. Only at McDonald's. Excludes flavored and cloud iced coffees. At participating Canadian restaurants. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
Recently, our company softball team lost the big game by 1 run. Then Dale tried to console us with the quote, "Winning isn't everything." Well, Dale and I are very different. I get early payout from Bet365. If my team goes up big, I get paid out instantly, even if they blow the lead later. Sound familiar, Dale? Thanks, Bet365.
Must be 18 or older. If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. Standard message and data rates may apply. T's and C's apply.
Hurry in for hot summer savings at Wolf GMC Buick. Take advantage of 0% purchase financing for up to 72 months on select new 2026 GMC Sierra 1500 pickups. 0% purchase financing for 36 months on select new 2026 Sierra 2500 Denali and Denali Ultimate models. Plus, huge cash savings on GMC Sierra heavy-duty trucks. And ask about the $1,000 truck trade-in bonus and low-rate lease offers. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Craving a dining experience that rises above the rest? Head to Summit Restaurant in the Silent Ice Center, just minutes from South Edmonton Common. Savor exceptional house-made pizza, delectable entrees, and expertly crafted cocktails in a stylish, modern atmosphere. Perfect for a casual meal or a special night out. Summit offers a refined experience where every bite and sip reflects our dedication to quality. Elevate your dining experience. Make Summit Restaurant your destination tonight.
Are you a skilled laborer? All Star Construction wants to talk to you. A heavy equipment operator with trackhoe or backhoe experience, All Star Construction wants to talk to you, too. With work in and around Edmonton for local land developers, All Star Construction offers year-round employment. Whether it's power, gas, or telecom, developers rely on All Star Construction to get the job done. So if you're a skilled laborer or a heavy equipment operator with trackhoe or backhoe experience searching for work, search All Star Construction on Indeed.
The Tom Gazzola Show on Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440.
Presented by Bet365. Alberta, we are here to stay.
Just after 9 o'clock, welcome back into the Tom Gazzola Show on Sports 1440. Brandon Douglas in for Tom, Josh Fenwick, Donovan Paulson, and even Cam Tate in studio, working hard in the corner there, getting things ready for Cam and Eggs coming up at 10 o'clock. The show is, as always, brought to you by Bet365. Canada just hit the biggest home run of the summer. Bet365 is available in Alberta and here to stay. Download the app, must be 18 plus. Please play responsibly. In case you missed it, just before the break and in Donovan's update, just coming down towards the top of last hour, Macklin Celebrini has extended in San Jose. He's heading into the final year of his entry-level contract, but the new deal is 5 years, cap hit of $18.8 million. Big ticket. He will expectedly, unless something crazy were to happen, I guess. I can't, off the top of my head, can't think of any other RFA or UFA that will out-earn that when the deal kicks in next year, but he is on pace to be the highest paid player in the NHL when that deal kicks in. Let's head down to the desert, though, and chat a little Utah Mammoth with Brogan Houston of the Deseret News covering the team. Brogan, good morning. Man, this Celebrini news a little bit out of nowhere. Does it come in close to what you expected for Celebrini in San Jose?
I mean, I'm no Sharks insider, but I definitely thought, if Leo Carlson gets 18, Celebrini's got to get a little bit more, and that's exactly what that is. Yeah. I've seen a bunch of criticism already of, you can't win with that much money committed to one player and whatnot. But if you look at all the other greats from the previous generation, I'm thinking Crosby, Ovechkin, those guys, they all signed for roughly the same percentage of the cap. Like the cap's supposed to be about $123 million next year. Celebrini, his number would be 15.2% of the cap, 15.3 if my math's right around there. I was looking at some numbers just before we started here. Crosby was at 15.3%. Ovechkin was at 16.8% on both of their respective first deals that they signed, their first big ticket deals. So this is right around that same number. I don't think it'll be really a problem as long as Mike Greer is smart in signing guys around him.
That's always the kicker, right? The GM has to then, if you want to pay your guys, and that's Pat Verbeek's was a little bit a problem of his own doing, leaving it for that full extra year and allowing the offer sheet status to come in, and Mike Greer not wanting to take anything close to that risk. He gets it taken care of, compensates him very well, but yeah, he will have his work cut out for him now after, putting some big money into the back end with Darnell Nurse, Jacob Trouba, and still deals to come for Will Smith and almost certainly Michael Misa, Sam Dickinson, excuse me. So he'll have his work cut out, but I'm not ready to completely write off them or even Anaheim either with these new big ticket money deals that the respective studs signed. So down in your neck of the woods, though, Brogan, the Utah Mammoth, they're taking a much more balanced approach to their distribution of funds across their lineup. Now, busy offseason, the most notable addition I would think is Vincent Trocheck up front. Veteran presence, a guy that can still contribute offensively, can play the center, can play the wing positions. Was this a surprise when you heard Utah was in the mix for this guy to bring him in? And what do you think he really adds to Utah's lineup to maybe take them to the next step next season?
Yeah, dating back to the trade deadline, I've been a little bit surprised with a few of Utah's moves, and mostly because Bill Armstrong spent a year and a half telling us, hey, we're not interested in 32-year-olds, 35-year-olds, 37-year-olds. We're not interested in these guys. We want, sub 25 players if we can get them. That's why they went out and got JJ Peterka. They want guys, and Mikhail Sergachev was right around that age when they acquired him as well. And they want guys that can build with the core. And by the time that those guys all have meshed together, then that's when they start adding veteran guys. And then all of a sudden they get Mackenzie Weegar at the trade deadline. They get Vincent Trocheck and Anders Lee at the free agency day. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, the average age of the team is probably, 5 or 6 years higher than it was before they signed those guys. And I just think, it seems like it could be shooting a little bit early. Like I'm not quite convinced yet that this team is ready to contend. And so bringing in guys that are the final pieces to a contender kind of confused me a little bit, to be honest. But, Bill Armstrong hasn't given us a reason to doubt him yet. So, I mean, as long as things keep going the way they have been, I mean, why not,
And the Peterka, call it experiment, I guess, didn't work out. They moved him to Boston. They regained some draft capital in the process, but they're still not exactly hard up for young, impressive talent to continue to build around. When you talk about Logan Cooley, Dylan Gunther, Clayton Keller, all of a sudden, team captain, but one of the more savvy vet guys on the team at 28 years old already. And that's just kind of scratching the surface of the talent pool this team has. Still plenty of guys waiting in the wings. But, a little insulation when you talk about guys like Trocheck and Lee in particular. And then on the back end, the addition of Weegar mid-season last year. Is that how it comes across to you, is just trying to insulate some of these younger players a little bit more with guys that have experience and maybe, seen some of those battles come playoff time? Because I liked Utah a lot in the first round, but it did seem that Vegas's experience and kind of savvy come playoff time truly is what kind of won that out for them by the end of that series.
Yeah, no, I think you're exactly right. And like I was saying, Anders Lee, he's old, but he's been through some really grueling playoff series there with the Islanders. And I mean, he made the conference finals 2 years in a row, got beaten by the Lightning both times, who went on to win the cup. And I really think had they been able to get past that Lightning team those 2 years, they could have won the cup, at least one of them. And so, I do think that is a major factor in it. Like Utah's best players are guys that haven't really won before, aside from Mikhail Sergachev, that haven't even really played in the playoffs before. It does have some sense to it for sure. And I guess we'll see, when the season starts, how all those guys gel. It's really interesting, the fact that they brought in a really good faceoff guy, a really good two-way center into a lineup that already had 5 or 6 centers. Like they have an embarrassment of riches down the middle, which is the area where every team needs more. And some of these guys are going to end up playing wing, because where else are you going to put them?
Brogan Houston from the Desert News talking Utah Mammoth with us here on Sports 1440. So, we're still late July. We're still a ways out from even training camp stuff getting underway. But how do you see things starting for the Mammoth? Do you think Trocheck will line up on the wing, but just be available to take draws, whether it be, to gain possession on a power play, big D or O zone moments, stuff like that? Or do you think he will actually line up and someone else ends up bumping over to the wing?
Yeah, excuse me. So the plan right now is for him to start on the wing. But again, everything can change in training camp. Both of the years that they've been in Utah so far, the first day of training camp, they announce a whole bunch of injuries, and then all of a sudden the projected lineups change because they know stuff that we don't, right? And so I'm not counting out that there could be a situation like that again this year, and that could be a situation that forces Vincent Trocheck into the middle. But as of right now, if everybody's healthy, the plan is for him to actually start on the wing. And I don't know if that's with the Keller line or the Cooley line, but it'll be one of those. And I was surprised when I was looking at some of his NHL edge data. It seems like he's actually a really fast player still, even though he's getting into the later stage of his career. And so I wonder if that would fit well with one of the faster lines in the league, and Logan Cooley and Dylan Gunther. I wonder if he could be a good pairing there. And then he's a right shot center. Logan Cooley's a left shot center. So depending on the side of the ice that the draw is on, he could be a good match there.
Now, a couple in-house pieces of business that they took care of here leading up to, end of the last year and into the offseason were extensions for both Nick Schmaltz and John Marino. Now, I'm a big fan of both these guys' games. They're not stalwarts, they're not superstars, but they play their game quite well. And starting with Schmaltz, did the price tag surprise you at all for a guy that, coming off his old deal, he's at 30 years old now, but with that in mind, second leading scorer and a picture of consistency, dependable, playing near every game, every season since joining the team, coming from Chicago a number of years ago when the club was still in Arizona.
Yeah, to answer your question about whether it surprised me, it surprised me that it was actually that low. With the cap rising as much as it has been, and all these guys just kind of walking away with bags full of money. Like, I was thinking Nick Schmaltz is going to be possibly a double-digit player, and he came out to 8 times 8. And if your first line center is making $8 million, you're in a pretty good spot in the current age of the NHL. He's a really, really good two-way guy. I had him third on my Selke ballot this year. And I think if he played in a market like Edmonton or a market like Toronto, Vancouver, like these big markets where there's a lot of media, everybody would know who Nick Schmaltz is because he would be kind of in that top Selke conversation every year. But because he plays in Utah and played in Arizona before that, it's just, he just doesn't get quite as much spotlight. But to put it into perspective for everybody here, 3 seasons ago and 2 seasons ago, he matched Nikolai Ehlers in points. Last year, he beat him by 6 or 7 points, right around there. Plus, he's a Selke Trophy candidate guy. So imagine Nick Ehlers, but a two-way stalwart. And that's who you got in Nick Schmaltz. And you got him for $8 million playing on your first line as the center. That's a heck of a player right there.
So you bring up some really good points there, and I guess maybe I was a little misguided in the price tag on an AAV basis. Did the term surprise you any more than the dollar figure? Then I guess to kind of pony off that a little bit.
Sure. It's a fair question. But players just want that 8th year, and that's kind of what drives down the AAV in a lot of these cases. And I can't speak for this one in particular. I wasn't in the room when they were doing the negotiations, but it does seem like that's probably a factor in it. Like, hey, if you'll take a little bit less, we'll give you a little bit more term. And that's just kind of how it goes. And from the team's perspective, you hope that you can win before that, and then everything else after that just doesn't even matter, So we'll see if they can kind of try and win before he gets too old to do it.
Exactly. As Brogan Houston from the Deseret News joins us here on the Tom Gazzola Show on Sports 1440, talking Utah Mammoth and their off-season activity. Now, the other half of that coin was John Marino. He still had a year left, of course. He'll play that out this season, but then his new extension will kick in, which really locks up the top end of their D-core for the foreseeable future. Sergachev till 2031, Uyghur same year, and then Marino all the way through to 2035. Awesome top end of their back end. They move on from Sean Dursey in the Trocheck trade. Does that open the door for some of these defensive prospects to take a little bit more of a foothold this season to kind of round out this group? And they've got some good insurance policies with the likes of Nate Schmidt, Andrew Peeke, even Nick DeSimone as some veteran options if maybe the rookies falter or need some reprieve at different times.
Yeah, I think that's exactly it. Dmitry Simashev is really ready to become a full-time NHLer. He was in and out of the lineup all season last year, and that was his first year in the NHL. And so he kind of, it seemed like he needed a little bit of stability to really figure out his game. And so the hope is that he can be a full 84 game player. Now I almost said 84 game player, and kind of break out as probably a top 4 kind of guy. And then he can take another step the next season and maybe become a top pairing type of guy. That's probably the projection for him. Maverick Lamoureux is another one he's a first round pick a few years ago, and they're hoping that he can still become a permanent NHLer. And the fact that they didn't bring back Ian Cole this year kind of opens up a spot for maybe the first injury, maybe will open up a spot for somebody like a Lamoureux to come in and prove himself as well. And then, you mentioned some of those depth guys, Nick DeSimone and Andrew Peeke. I haven't met Peeke yet. He's always played in the East, and so I haven't watched him quite as much as I've watched some of the other guys. But it seems like he'll be, he's at $1 million on a 1-year deal. It seems like he'll kind of be that guy that can slide out if he needs to, as well as Nick DeSimone. I mean, another guy that nobody talks about ever is Nick DeSimone, but he's the perfect 7th defenseman. he can sit out for 2 months and then jump right back in the lineup and score a goal. And he'll play 20 minutes a night and be just super effective. You never even notice him because he's never on the wrong end of the highlight reels and that kind of thing. And so, yeah, I think that they have a good setup there as long as not too many injuries hit. And we'll see what happens if they do.
Yeah, and hey, those type of depth guys that, as you said, can sit out and step in. Edmonton had a good one in Troy Stetcher here for a long time, eventually needing to, claimed on waivers by Toronto and plying his trade out east now. But those players serve a lot of value for teams, especially ones that want to make playoffs and be in contention. Now, we talked about a couple of the rookies or promising prospects on the back end up front. Local ties with the Tija Ginla factor, former top pick, but then Caleb Desnoyers, right? Like he's still just 19 years old, another centerman to add to their embarrassment of riches that they already had. Do you envision a world where he pushes anything in camp, or do you think they'd rather slow play his development because of the glut they have down the middle already at the NHL level?
Yeah, to be honest, I mean, I've watched Caleb a few times this year, QMJHL, World Juniors, all that kind of stuff. And he still needs to put on a little bit of weight, and he probably has another level of his game to get to before he's ready to be a top 6 center in the NHL. So I wouldn't be surprised if he starts in the AHL this year, puts some meat on his bones, gets some reps in, plays against men for the first time ever. And maybe, halfway through the season, if he's doing okay, then maybe they call him up for a little bit and see how he does in the NHL. And I think TJ Ginla is a little bit ahead of Caleb Desnoyers, but I think he's probably going to start the same way, I would think. Now, a good camp can change that, and we'll see if it does. But Utah already has, I believe it's 14 or 15 forwards on one-way deals. So you can't necessarily use any of those spots on prospects unless you're darn sure that they're going to be there the entire year. And so that's kind of the hold up there. I wonder about Iginla though, like just kind of does he push? But I don't think Desnoyers is quite ready to take on a big role in the NHL right now.
Great insight, Brogan. Really appreciate your time this morning, kind of coming right on the heels of that big Celebrini news. So I'm sure that'll keep us and even yourself busy as it immediately makes us question, well, what's next for the next player, and is it worth it? And on and on and on, as we love to yammer about these things. So excellent insight on the Mammoth. Looking forward to seeing what they can accomplish this season, as we'll be right back at camp before we know it. Thanks for your time this morning. Have a good remainder of your summer.
Thanks, Brandon. Brogan
Houston, the Deseret News, covering the Utah Mammoth down in Salt Lake City. Man, the Mammoth, as I kind of said off the top, Donovan, with Brogan, like a lot of these teams are going super top heavy. The Mammoth kind of taking a little bit of a different approach. Like, and it's credit to how Bill Armstrong's built the team, because he got a lot of his guys locked up long term. Like Logan Cooley at $10 million. I like that Schmaltz deal. Don't really love the term, but hey, if that's what kept the AAV down by a little bit more, so be it. Keller's still at a pretty penny for a couple of years. The Gunther deal might end up being the best in the NHL as soon as this season, if he can click to that next tier of like 40 goal man.
I love this roster.
I do too. I like this team a lot. I picked them to beat Vegas.
So did I.
And I think it was just a little bit of their inexperience that kind of shone through. Like when I watched that Vegas-Utah series, I saw Utah as an equally good team, maybe even better.
I thought they were a better team in that series.
But it was, and it's such a cliche and easy thing to lean on because it's not really tangible, but just like knowing how to win. Yep. And grinding out games. And that was one of the, like, because Carter Hart was quite solid the rest of the playoffs, but didn't he have that one game he let in like 4 goals on 12 shots?
Yes.
And it's like, man, you find still a way to win series when stuff like that happens. Like, that's experience, that's leadership, that's veteran presence, and that's something that Vegas has in spades, obviously, as a very recent Stanley Cup champion. That was a good step for Utah. I hope they learn from it and come back, because, man, this is a very good roster.
I think they blew 3 third-period leads in that series, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you're right.
That was just pure inexperience. I thought they were the better team. I thought they showed throughout that entire series, to be frank, that they were actually the more complete team. It's just, their inexperience got the best of them, and that's going to happen when you're a young team, when you've got a lot of guys really making their playoff debuts. But you look at, to me, that top 9, and you go, wow. Like there is.
It's very balanced. It's a very deep team.
They are very similar to the Dallas Stars in the way that they are built. However, to me, like you don't have that like Jason Robertson or Mikko Rantanen, like the 100-point player, you just have like point of game player after point of game player after what we presume will be point of game players in Logan Cooley, and like Dylan Gunther's going to probably, I think he's going to score 50 goals at some point in his career. Like I love the way that they're built. The only questions I have about this Mammoth team is, do I love their blue line? No.
I like the top half of it.
I like the top half of it. I just kind of question, like, for me, like, we'll see what Simashev is. Nate Schmidt, I've never been a fan. Andrew Peak, I flat out hate.
Well, those are your depth guys. Like,
but yeah, like those guys are usually not going to make or break your season here. And there's also a trade deadline. So, yeah, like to me, this is honestly, would I be stunned if they found a way to win the Central? No.
Really?
No, I think that highly of that team.
Yeah, the Central's just going to be a dogfight. Like
for sure.
There might be some cannibalization amongst them that keeps the division much closer than it was last year, where Colorado ran away with it from the get-go, and Dallas made it close at different points and then fell off, and then made it close again, and it ended up where it ended up. But this is a no-doubter playoff team in my eyes, and a top 3 one, not a wild card team. But it's just a matter of who do they push out in the Central to make that happen.
I mean, you'd obviously have to pass some really, really damn good teams in terms of finding a way to win that division. However, for them, I do think every other team in front of them got worse, and they got substantially better. Like for the Stars, you lose Maverick Bourque. You kind of have some cap casualties there. You have some other cap casualties on that Stars roster. You have a ton of cap casualties on the Avs roster in Nichushkin, and you send out you send out Drury, you send out some others as well in Ross Colton. Like there were a lot of cap casualties on the Avs, and I don't know. Like I look at this Stars roster, and I felt like their year to win was probably 2 years ago. Like I don't know. I'm kind of over this Stars roster.
I am not. And
they're still good, but I don't know. Like at what point do you look at it and go, they just don't have enough?
Well, they got Robertson back, which is certainly a good starting point.
Rantanen's awesome. Verbehen's good player. Wyatt Johnston, great player.
Thomas Harley, Miro Heiskanen, Jake Ottinger. These are all good players.
Ottinger's good, but man, do I think he gets overhyped.
When we return, we will dive back into the text line, 1-833-401-1440. Some more reaction to the Macklin Celebrini extension and what it means for the Sharks, what it means for the rest of the league, implications on future deals, past deals, implications on it getting signed in the first place. We'll go in or out with Donovan at 9:40, and then at the 10 o'clock hour, we'll hear from Cam Tate with today's edition of Cam and Eggs, and then Declan Kruger will slide in studio as well, talk a little football, college, NFL, CFL, the whole 9 yards, an expression that's not at all related to football, but applied in this context. It's the Tom Gazzola Show here on Sports 1440. Brendan Douglas, Donovan Paulson, Josh Fenwick, and Cam Tate all in studio. Watch the show. It's streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and even Twitch. And it's brought to you by Bet365.
Looking for auto repair with something extra? Cougar Paint and Collision is ready to help.
We don't always work on your everyday cars. Lots of times there's stuff that's out of the ordinary. You know, it feels good when people phone and they ask for advice on what's the best way to do something, or even if they stop in, just even to see if their car's worth fixing or not. Giving them advice and help along the way on how to fix their cars, kind of good.
Cougar Paint and Collision, our family helping your family.
You don't just need property services, you need problems handled. HireGood provides cleanup, debris removal, site monitoring, and safety attendance across Edmonton. We reduce issues on your property, keep spaces safe, and take pressure off your team. We resolve real problems for businesses while creating real impact because our team is built on second chances and they show up every day ready to prove it. Visit hiregood.ca or call and mention Jason Greger for a first-time discount. Hire Good. Stable jobs create stable lives.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at edmontonexpocentre.com today.
Mr. Rooter has deja vu. Mr. Rooter has deja vu.
The bathroom is right over there, Mr. Rooter.
Thank you, good sir. Wait, I swear I've plunged this toilet before. It was clogged with a snow globe. Am I living in a time loop? Oh, good. It's just a voodoo doll that looks exactly like me. Whew, what a relief.
For a plumbing experience you'll want to relive, call Mr. Rooter. Love Pro Wrestling. It's the only place you'll find lumberjacks, short kings, madlands, and a high-flying goose. LPW 50, no regrets, hits the Rec Room South Edmonton Comet Friday, July 31st. See LPW Grand Champion T.Y. Jackson face his toughest challenge. God's gift to wrestling, MRB. Whether it's a family outing, date night, or drinks with friends, check out Edmonton's wildest party at Love Pro Wrestling. Tickets available now at tixart.com/Love Wrestling.
I missed one payment, then another. Now I feel behind on everything. I can't keep up.
Falling behind happens to more people than you think, but there is a solution. My name is Parveen Middleton. I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. Together, we can create a plan that fits your situation and helps you get caught up and back in control. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to book your free consultation and discover your debt-free future.
Alberta, this one's for you. Around here, trust takes a few winters.
It's why players have known Jackpot City since 1998. Home to hundreds of exciting casino games, live dealer action, and new adventures waiting to be discovered. Jackpot City. Nothing beats the original. Please play responsibly. 18 years or older. Alberta only.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca.
The Tom Gazzola Show with guest host Brandon Douglas on Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440.
Presented by Bet365. Alberta, we are here to stay.
Young Donovan Paulson crushing it on the music this morning. A lot of throwback tracks, getting people in a good mood on a Wednesday. Welcome back to the Tom Gazzola Show on Sports 1440. Yes, Donnie P's in the ones and twos, crushing it, spinning the hottest tracks of yesterday, today, maybe even tomorrow. It's your DJ handle, Donnie?
I don't have one.
DJ Donnie P?
I guess if you want to throw one in there, go for it.
That's all. Like, you never at any point, like, joking with your friends, but like,
no.
When are you the guy that gets the aux cord at parties?
No, usually not, because I actually still don't pay for any like Spotify Premium or anything.
Well,
like
now
that.
you definitely can't, because Sportsnet Plus is too expensive, and you need to buy an Amazon Premium. Do you have Prime Video Premium, or do you just do the one that comes with your Amazon subscription?
We just have the one with the Amazon subscription.
Me too, and it's one of those things that I can't, like. I literally pay for Premium Sportsnet Plus TSN Plus, everything included. Like everything is like, I don't want any commercials. I don't want any ads. Also, and then just like with Amazon, it's like this last strand that I'm holding on to where I say like, I will not fork over more money to you just to eliminate this minute and a half of commercials. I guess YouTube's, I don't consume a lot of YouTube stuff for the most part, but that I also don't have like YouTube Premium.
Would you like my Amazon sign in? Because I pay for the no ads because I use it for a lot of other things along with
you don't want what I'm watching changing your algorithm.
No, it's okay. I still have a free spot available. Apparently my mom's signed in now. Didn't know this happened.
Oh.
My sister's just handing it out all willy-nilly.
So, but I thought they were really cracking down on
No,
that.
just Netflix.
Just Netflix. So they're just the scummers of the streaming industry right now.
Take my Amazon Prime, Brandon.
No, it's okay. I'm definitely not giving Donovan my Spotify Premium. So if this is some sort of like reciprocative circle in handing over passwords for each other, I want no part of it.
I don't want anything.
Not a
from
team
you.
player.
Well, I'm a team player. My Spotify's there for you to use when you're at work. That's it. That's it. Text lines 1-833-401-1440. We'd asked for lots of guesses about what the Celebrini extension was going to be. And this texter, Matty K, if you're Matty, no, you didn't win anything. You won credit. Like I'm crediting you saying you were the closest. I'd love to give you something. I don't have anything to give, unfortunately, but I'll say this. If you, Matty K, or anyone else wants to go to the Elks game this Saturday afternoon against the Riders, rematch of the best game of the CFL season so far, looking to pack Commonwealth. Pair of tickets up for grabs each day, all week long, across all of our shows. Like, you just have to text in Elks. 1-833-401-1440. Text that in to us. ELKS. You're automatically entered to win pair of tickets for this game. We already gave away a set this morning. It's not on me. Goes into the system, auto generates, picks one out, and then our great promo team, Brent and Marissa, down the hallway, they'll send you a message getting you to email details, and they will get your tickets transferred to you. We're giving away all week long, every week of every home game this Elk season. You can't beat that. You can't beat that. Oddball, thank goodness Mark Wahlberg made the switch to movies.
Somebody doesn't like
the Funky
seriously? You don't like Good Vibrations?
Can I name I name a single other Funky Bunch song?
No, but it doesn't matter because that song absolutely bangs.
It just like literally it's called Good Vibrations. It just puts you in a good mood.
It is one of the best good mood songs.
Before we crack the mics and maybe even Josh turn the cameras on, I would have no idea. It's just me sitting here with no sound on, just shimmying and shaking a little bit. Listening to that song coming out of break. Makes me feel good.
You should have got the pipes for a minute and started singing.
No, I'm not Eddie Steele.
that in or out for like the last couple days of Kevin's tenure here, when it was just the greatest hits of Kevin and Eddie singing and stuff.
The clip of Eddie singing, not clips, plural, because there's several, both Free Fallin', Lay It on the Line, a few other ones that I just didn't record because I'm like, I only can have so many of these. I cannot listen to them without laughing till tears are in my eyes. They're 3 seconds long. And I've listened to them a million times. I'll listen to a million more. They will have the same effect. Hey, Matty K says he loves the credit. Shout out Matty K. And by the way, Tater gives you credit too. I'm not sure he's going to work that into his Cam and Eggs coming up at 10 o'clock. Apparently it was supposed to be at 9:20, but he needed more time. And I have nothing but time for Cam Tate. Nothing but time. So we'll get to that in the 10 o'clock hour when I thought it was going to be originally. Anyway, we are going to do in or out right after the break, but a few more text messages coming in. Imitation Tom, I would argue for Utah losing 3 third-period leads is a coaching issue. Well, this kind of just goes back to the age-old question. Is the coach coaching the players to sit back and do nothing? Maybe sometimes, like they say, hey, guys, let's trap it up out there. Defensive shell. We're playing a 2-time Stanley Cup final appearance team Stanley Cup champion from just a couple seasons ago. Let's just shell it up and try and protect this. It's not really the strength of our game. It's not what we're known for. But let's do it anyway. I doubt it. I'm not on the bench. I don't know what Andre Turigny is saying to his players. But because the reason I bring this up is it's the exact same thing people said about Chris Knobloch. Right, Donovan? It was like, why is the coaching staff telling them to just sit back and do nothing? They're on their heels the whole game, right? And this is in the series against Anaheim in any number of the time the Ducks came back in that series. Like, that's not what they're telling them. Sometimes you just don't play well. And for Utah specifically, I believe from watching the series that it was a little bit of like, oh boy, we're here all of a sudden. It's the playoffs. Like you said it, Donovan. How many of the guys on that team, it was their first playoff games?
Most of them. Outside of Sergachev, Nate Schmidt, and a couple other low impact players, it was most of their first playoff runs. And when I say runs, I mean 6 games.
Nick in Grand Prairie will finish with this text. I have Sportsnet Plus. It's so delayed. Just finished watching Jeff Hoffman give up a home run to Miguel Rojas last night.
Oh,
ouch.
Get out of here.
Get
out of here.
Cuts deep.
I don't want to relive and think about that moment.
I know you and Walker
anymore.
talked about this all the time, Donovan. Like, Walker's just like checked out on baseball this year because he just he can't get over it.
Yeah.
Right? It hurt him so much. I've yet to go back and watch like any highlights from last year's playoff run.
I can't watch it.
Which in the past, at least once a year, forget about if the team was good or not, at least once a year, I would like watch these comprehensive recaps and highlight packages from both the 2015 and 2016 teams that went to the ALCS. But there's just something about what last year did to me as a Jays fan that I can't get there. I hope to, because there were a lot of awesome moments and I want to relive them, but not yet. Not yet. When we come back, we'll go in or out. Donovan's cooked up a list, I think.
Yeah.
Is it in my inbox?
It is not actually in your inbox. It will be.
We're going in blind.
Yeah.
We are going in blind. We'll get Fenny in on the mix, as well as we touch on a few different topics from around the sporting world and beyond. It's the Tom Gazzola Show. Brandon Douglas, Josh Fenwick, Donovan Paulson, Cam Tate all in studio. Streaming the show. You can watch it on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch. And it is brought to you by Bet365.
Okay, new strategy. I'll just live in the freezer till October. It's spacious in here. It's spacious.
There's a better way to survive the coming AC season. Pro Solutions is your one-call solves-it-all expert for AC repairs, tune-ups, and new installations. We offer convenient financing options and fast appointments so you can enjoy your entire home, not just the freezer.
Now I can leave the frozen peas where they belong.
Book now at prosolutionsinc.ca.
It's time to hit the greens. Elevate your golf game with Country Club Tour Golf Academy. No matter your experience, our PGA of Canada teaching pros are here to help. Enjoy lessons year-round between our 7 CCT golf courses and 2 state-of-the-art indoor facilities. Choose the location convenient for you. We offer private lessons, group lessons, expert club fittings, and junior camps. Visit our website to learn more and get ready to take your game to the next level. Booking is easy. Go to countryclubtour.com/golf academy and schedule your lesson today.
It's cone season at McDonald's, which means vanilla cones are $1 each plus tax in the McDonald's app all summer long. Soft, creamy, and crunchy. For just $1 each plus tax exclusively in the McDonald's app. App download and registration required at participating McDonald's in Canada.
It might have been scraped by the snowblower, dented while door crashing, or crunched at the company Christmas party. At some point over the winter, your car was damaged and it's been hiding under a coat of winter grime.
Then come and see Robertson Body Works. We can take care of the damage and the dirt. This week only, call and book a repair and get a complete auto detailing absolutely free.
But you have to book your appointment before the week is up. Go to robertsonbodyworks.com.
I'm Tim Robertson, and I fix cars.
I finished a 5K in 94th place, right after a man wearing jeans. Then a volunteer gave me a medal. But I don't want participation trophies, unless they're from Bet365. With their daily prize matcher game, I win by matching gold coins, cherries, and more. Take that, Denim Man. Thanks, Bet365.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. 18 plus only. T's and C's apply.
DraftKings Casino is live, Alberta. Now you can play all your favorite casino games all in one app, from the Badlands to the Rockies. Check out the DK Slots collection with thousands of games to choose from. Play the classics like Cash Eruption, or take fan favorites for a spin like the widely popular Cash Shingo series. If table games and more are your thing, DraftKings has a huge variety. Plus, they've got more than 100 exclusive games like Rocket. And when it comes to jackpots, DraftKings Casino has tons available on your favorite games, including single-level, multi-level, and progressive jackpots. When you're ready to join the fun, download the DraftKings Casino app now in Alberta. The crown is yours. Please play responsibly. 18 and over. Physically present in Alberta. Eligibility restrictions apply. See casino.draftkings.com for details.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit AB.
The Tom Gazzola Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. Watch us on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Presented by Bet365. Alberta, we're here to stay.
9:45. Welcome back to the Tom Gazzola Show, Sports 1440, live from the Stingray Studios here in West Edmonton Mall. The show streaming, video format, YouTube at Sports 1440 AM, our social pages, Facebook, X, Instagram, even over on Twitch. And then you can, of course, listen to us as well. The TuneIn app. That's my favorite one when I'm out and about or on the go with my phone. But of course, iHeartRadio, sports1440.ca, or the old reliable AM terrestrial radio dial. All good choices. It is time for In or Out. Brought to you by Pro Solutions. Need fast AC service? Pro Solutions offers expert repairs, tune-ups, and installs with flexible financing. Book your appointment now at prosolutionsinc.ca.
Okay, you know what? Moving too fast. Bottom line, are you in or you out?
In or out of what?
No time for questions, just action. In or out?
Well, then I'm out.
I'm sorry, Jet. Actually, you're already in.
Are you in or are you out?
On Sports 1440.
I thought you would go, I'm in, Bob. We would have had a really cool moment, but you kind of ruined the whole thing.
Donovan, just before I turn you loose here, we've been at the Sports Center loop on in studio this morning, and after the squirrel incident at the baseball game last night, where was that? You remember?
I do not remember.
Either way, the squirrel, they could not catch the squirrel. So the Sports Center top 10 we've seen 4 times over now has been like wild animal incidents, and we've seen rabbits out there, kitty cats. The one I just saw was a monkey running across at a golf course and stole someone's sandwich.
Yes.
That's how I envisioned you at the Spec Classic, just scampering around looking for scraps out of people's carts to keep yourself sustained while you and Mac were filming all your great content.
Yeah, that's exactly what we did.
Okay, thank you.
We, especially myself, I went in there. I went into people's carts. I went into particularly.
You're like shaking their beer can, see if there's a sip left in the bottom of it, and just a little pulling it back.
Spec's cart was a particular target of mine. I made sure to target Ben Scrivens and some of the other former Oilers alumni as well.
Name
they were,
dropping.
I mean, hey, they were the wealthier ones. So you got to target the wealthy.
What do you got today for in or out?
First one up here, of course, the Macklin Celebrini deal, newly signed over the last hour or so. I'm saying, while fair, it is short-sighted from the player.
From the player?
Yes.
No, I'm out. And like I said it when this came across, that I am surprised by this news, but that doesn't mean it's not deserved or worthy.
That's why, while fair, it is short-sighted.
I don't know. It just like, this is the way it goes now. Like the 5-year deal, because the players are that confident, they get a chance to cash in again. It walks them right to UFA status. The cap, we expect to only continue going up. And even if it doesn't keep going up by the same kind of exponential values, it still creeps up, which just means, You get a chance to cash in again. You still get some pretty good security here at, $100+ million. Or what's the total number on it?
94.
94, excuse me. Yeah. Right. Quick maths. You get some pretty good security there, but then you can just pile it on top even more. So I don't know, short-sighted. Like, I don't necessarily love the team building move by Greer, but that's not because of the Celebrini deal. It's because of the other deals with Nurse and Trouba in particular. So I don't know. I have a hard time saying it's short-sighted.
My thing is just when you're Celebrini, you already know Trouba and Nurse are on the cap. So why do you immediately put your team in cap hell? That's my point. Is just basically like, and at the end of the day, like, what's the difference between $80 million and $16 million a year versus 18.8 and 94? Like, is that really going to improve your quality of life? To me, it just, like, I don't know, man. I look at you immediately screw over your team in terms of the cap. You can say that Mike Greer absolutely deserves some flack for taking both Trouba and Nurse. Absolutely. But when you're Celebrini and you know that those guys are already eating up that chunk of cap space that they are, I think you need to actually be smart and try and give your team the best chance to win. Like, it's one thing if you look at what the Oilers did after McDavid signed his deal. If you look at what, Mike Greer might do, like, it's one thing if Trouba or Nurse was after Celebrini signed his deal, because then I would say that's obviously all on the team. But for me, this is one where what was already done. You know what you're working with. You just chose to not be a team player.
But and I don't know, like Brogan brought up the numbers, right? Like the percentage is right there. And the Ovechkin one's a little bit different because he was on a different deal when they won the cup, was he not? I might have to check that.
Yeah, he was, I think.
So if you're saying you want the player to be a little less selfish for the sake of the team, why then would you do that when you just saw your GM overpay two defensemen?
You do that because do you want your team to win or not?
Well,
like, the reality is, with what his deal is now, you're going to immediately lose someone after their ALC. Am I wrong? Like, you're going to probably lose one of Dickinson, Miso, or Stenberg immediately after their ALC ends.
No.
What are you
well, according to you, now they should all just take team-friendly deals.
Well, somebody's going to have to.
Maybe one will.
I mean, in this current it's not going to be Will Smith.
In this economy?
It's not going to be Will Smith. I think it comes down to, like, maybe it's just our current over expectation of star players to be team players. But to me, it was just a little too selfish. Like, it's one thing.
I take no issue with it. It's the money he deserves. It was clearly on track to be this way. Like, my surprise came that at that number, I was okay with it being $18 million, but I just thought it would be at a 7 or 8 year term. But instead, he wants to cash in again and give another look. Like, the commitment to these teams for a full term is less and less likely. And I'm not saying he's never not going to be a Shark, whether it be at the end of this deal, before, after, doesn't matter. It could very well be a career one-team guy. But it just keeps more options open for the player. And that's the simplest way to put it.
On to number 2 here. The Quinn Hughes and Cale Makar extensions will top Celebrini's.
So you think these guys aren't team players either?
In Quinn Hughes' case, I know what the number was starting with before this deal, and it was 18. That's what I've heard. And for Makar, I'd be pretty surprised if they don't go kind of neck and neck with their deals.
Well, it's almost, I think, a little bit of a wait out thing.
Yeah.
Who signs theirs first?
Yeah.
And for Hughes, because Makar, I think, is more likely to remain in Colorado than Hughes is in Minnesota. And I don't necessarily think that Hughes is unlikely to stick in Minnie. Like, I think that the pipe dream of him going to Jersey and playing with, I don't know.
That's done.
I think that's over.
Yeah.
Now, does he find somewhere and then eventually one or both of his brothers eventually move to where he is to play hockey? Could that be Minnesota? So, I don't know. Higher than 18.8. I'll be out because one of them will and one of them will be just under.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair.
Like I could see whoever goes first signing for like the same money or just like 18 and a half or something. And then the next guy signs for like 19. Just to say like I'm the highest paid defenseman.
That's fair. That's totally fair. The Jays off to number 3 here. The Jays will conveniently heat up after selling at the deadline.
I'll be out on this one too. We do see teams rally a little bit, but baseball it's so much more difficult because I don't know. Like you like they're going to lose at least one starting pitcher, maybe a couple, probably a bullpen arm, and they've got some good guys coming up through the system. To me, none of them are knocking down the door at AAA to get their shot at the MLB level. Like these are going to be call-ups that are out of necessity because of a lack of bodies, and you maybe get like a little pop here and there. But there's also like if you get a pop from some of the call-up players or new players that you're getting back, that like the rest of the team is still the team that we've seen all year long. So I think they're just going to continue the same level of play. Like I think they'll just be the same.
Like when you think about Toronto franchises, it would just be the ultimate Toronto franchise move, no? Like, I feel like Toronto franchises always kind of do that when they're out of it. I know the Leafs went, their last 7 games or whatever. But prior to that, like they were heating up at one point. I don't know. I could fully see Vladdy Jr. just locking in for like the last 3 weeks of the season after the season's already dead.
Well, sure. I can see individual players getting a little bit hotter, but just like, do I expect them to win more games after the deadline and then all of a sudden like miss the playoffs by a game or two? No, I don't. Because most likely all the other teams around them are going to get better. They are going to get worse. Like from a talent and personnel perspective.
But if Vladdy starts hitting, your team's going to start winning. To me. Because that's the story of the season is this team hasn't won because Vladdy hasn't hit. And when your superstar is
Vladdy can hit as many home runs as he wants, I think. But if the team's rolling out a bullpen day every second outing, I don't see them winning very many games, Donovan.
Hey, we'll just have to see here. I don't know. I think if Vladdy goes, the team's gonna start to go. Off to number 4, and this one, you're gonna love this one, Josh. The Angels will go nuclear at the deadline.
So my understanding, as we bring in Josh Fenwick here over on the digital production side of things, he's a devout Angels fan. Mike Trout, follower. Like, and I don't mean follower like he follows the team. Like he's like Jesus had followers, disciples. Would be Josh Fenwick's relationship with Mike Trout. My understanding here, Donovan, is that you mean they were going to trade Mike Trout?
You could take that as trading Mike Trout, but they have a lot of players under team control that they can trade, like 25-year-old Zach Neto, Jose Soriano, who's been pretty damn good this year. Reed Detmer's under team control. They have guys on expiring deals like Joe Adell, who had a great year last year. Jorge Soler could get traded. There are a lot of pieces that could get traded, like potentially up to 6 guys. You can take this as Mike Trout going nuclear. I'd be surprised, but I mean, hey, the term nuclear does mean explosion. So
well, to qualify as nuclear, that would mean that Mike Trout's no longer an Angel, because otherwise they're just admired in another bad season where they part out available options to try and turn it around moving forward. So I'm going to be out because I just don't see them trading Mike Trout. And to define nuclear, I would need that to happen. Josh Fenwick, Angels expert, what say you?
I'll be in, but I also don't think they're going to trade Mike Trout. I don't think he wants to leave, honestly. I think he's
Why would you?
I think he's happy in California. His family's all set up, but I could see Detmer's gone, Soriano gone. I could see a world where they trade Shanuel, Neto, Joe Adell, Jorge Soler.
I think there's a world where there's at least like a third of that roster on a different team.
And they're going to get rid of all these guys, maybe Kirby Yates, and then they'll get some good prospects back and they'll proceed to ruin them also. So,
it's just the Angels way.
It is simply the Angels way. Yeah. So, I could see them going nuclear at the deadline. If they also did nothing, I would not be surprised.
There's like two worlds for the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. It is you either trade a third of your roster because that's a real possibility, or you basically do nothing, hang on, and decide to be the Angels and do the dumbest thing possible. They've done it every year. So why would this year be any different? But off to the fifth and final. Today, National Chicken Wing Day. To me, the most overrated wings are buffalo wings.
Donnie, you're fired.
Could not be more out on this, maybe of any question you've ever asked. Even the ones that I don't really understand what they're asking sometimes, I'm still more out on this. Buffalo is the best flavor of chicken wing. How can you be like, is Connor McDavid overrated?
No. But people hype up buffalo wings, and they're good, but they're not nowhere near as good as people think they are.
Donovan, are they a little bit too spicy for you?
No, I love hot wings.
Donovan sits down, orders his chicken fingers. Yum, 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 chicken fingers. and then he'll get a order of boneless wings.
I don't get boneless wings.
Light on the seasoning, salt and pepper, please and thank you. It's just called salt and pepper chicken nuggets to go with his chicken tenders that he's dipping in his plum sauce.
I like spicy wings. I love spicy food, period. You'll never hear a complaint about, well, that's not true, but you'll never because I mean they're
challenge accepted.
I haven't done any like hot ones type of stuff like that because I'm sure that would blow my face off. But for the general consumer, you'll never hear me have a wing that's too hot or a food that's too hot. However, I just like
so what's your go-to wing order then? Like what are you ordering more times than not?
You know, like I honestly don't really have them. I like to be all over the place. I like the Cajun wing flavors. I like the sweet chili wing flavors. I like
sweet chili's good.
I mean, salt and pepper's okay from time to time, but like I'm kind of all over the place. I like most wing flavors. It's just buffalo is like it's a top 10 flavor for sure. I just don't think it's anywhere near that number one spot. I think people overhype it.
Josh?
First Mars bar, actually first chicken fingers, then Mars
what a hot
bars,
streak you're
and
on this
now buffalo wings. Donnie, leave the food questions to Brandon and Laddie, okay? Like this just ain't your realm.
All right. Well, hey, and just as yesterday, I'm a man that plays it down the middle. I see both sides. I'm not I don't just pick and choose the points, the stats, the text messages. Jerry L. Agree. It's way overrated. Chris, have to agree with him. Buffalo flavor is so generic now. It's on everything. Grow a palate, man. Now there is some on the other side of this as well. Matt, the promo guy. Oh boy, Donnie. He's going to come confiscate your backpack. Donovan, this is a fireable offense.
Me and Matt have had some good arguments.
Gord Oil, someone please vote Donovan off the island already. How are buffalo wings overrated from Steve? Chris, you just made an entire construction site groan. And I don't think in a good way, Donovan.
I'm actually pretty proud of that.
You wouldn't have a lot of experience with that.
I have been on construction sites before.
Not what I meant, but that's okay. Yeah. Honey Hot is the new buffalo, says Rockford. Donnie P, I love most of your takes, but the wing take is way off. Salt and pepper overrated. Nails, where are the wings on a buffalo? Good question. Yeah.
Hot Honey, Rockford. Hot Honey is the new buffalo.
The Hawk.
I actually quite Hot Honey slaps.
Tater, what about you? Wing flavor?
I would.
Okay.
I
say it again. Chicken. Yeah, he likes chicken wings. Oh, yeah. Who doesn't like chicken wings are awesome. And that's what's great about them is that you can do them up any different. Like you start with the same principle. Sauce, dry rub, smoke them, fry them, grill them. Great variation. But like I just can't understand like what makes them overrated.
It's just so generic. Like, and this is not to steal the text from I forget who it was earlier. There's so many texts flying in about my my take. I just like it's just so
like, if you want to say that the buffalo flavoring, like buffalo sauce in general, is overplayed, I'll hear that, because that text came and said it's on everything now.
I'm kind of sick and tired of it.
I'll hear that. That doesn't mean that the flavor is overrated. Like, the flavor is good. Is it good or is it not good?
It's good. I said it's top 10, but it's not like I'm just at a point with buffalo wings and I'm like, whatever. I just don't care.
Well,
like they're fine. They're good.
I'm going to go for wings before slow pitch tonight and get just buffalo wings. I'm going to
get a double order.
I'm going to get them super saucy, and I'm going to make a mess all over my face, fingertips burning, lips sizzling a little bit. And I'll be thinking, man, Donovan is such an idiot. Then I'll go play slow pitch, maybe stroke a dinger or two. Good stuff, Donovan. Way to get the people fired up, as only you seem to know how to do. When we come back, we'll hear today's version of Cam and Eggs from Cam Tate. And then at 10:20, Declan Kruger will pop by in studio, we hope, for some football talk, college football right around the corner, NFL camps underway, and, of course, the Elks in action Saturday night against the Riders. Before that, Sports 1440 update brought to you by Right on Cue. Fusion Promo Marketing. Expand your brand. High-quality promotional products for businesses, sports teams, and corporate events get noticed at fusionpromomarketing.ca. That's Fusion with a Z. Here is Donovan Paulson.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
The big NHL news of the day: Macklin Celebrini extending with the San Jose Sharks on a 5-year deal for $94 million a year, 18.8 AAV per season. MLB action: the Jays getting underway in about an hour's time. It is Trey Savage on the bump for the Bluebirds, Zach Littell for the Nats. The Phillies take on the Marlins in about 5 minutes. The D-backs, they have a matinee against the Pirates. The Tigers host the Orioles. The Mets and Braves, they get underway in a double header. And the Yankees are in Chi-Town to clash with the White Sox coming up right after the break. And it is hour 4. And we've got Cam Tate with the Cam and Eggs. I'm Donovan Paulson. That's your Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Car shopping sucks. That's right. Going back and forth 100 times just to get a price. Give me your credit card for a test drive. What's all these extra fees? That sounds ridiculous. At Northgate, we do things a little differently. Good deals on new, pre-owned vehicles, good people, and a great selection. Stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
Thinking of growing your business? In partnership with Prairies Can, the Alberta Chambers of Commerce is helping businesses explore new opportunities, new markets, and build connections through organized trade missions across Canada. Find the right mission for you at abchamber.ca/trade missions. At GS Construction, people grow with the company. 50 years of experience doesn't live in a binder on a shelf. It lives in our people at every level, passed down on every site. Many of us started with a shovel in our hands and built whole careers here. The work is honest. The company's been around since 1974. So if it all sounds good to you and you want to grow with us, GS Construction is currently looking for experienced pipe layers and topmen. No shovel required. Visit gsconstruction.ca today.
I finished a 5K in 94th place, right after a man wearing jeans. Then a volunteer gave me a medal. But I don't want participation trophies, unless they're from Bet365. With their daily prize matcher game, I win by matching gold coins, cherries, and more. Take that, denim man. Thanks, Bet365.
Must be 18 or older. If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. Standard message and data rates may apply. T's and C's apply.
So you're dying from the heat, sweat dripping on your sheets. You want to cool it down, but your AC can't compete. So you fall upon your knees and cry out, oh please, I need a cooling breeze. Send me Legacy's AC Repairman.
Legacy's AC Repairman.
AC Repairman.
can't spell legacy without AC. Legacy Heating and Cooling's got a guy who's really good at fixing broken ACs. So if you got one, call Legacy. Okay, see you later. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Love pro wrestling. It's the only place you'll find lumberjacks, short kings, madlands, and a high-flying goose. LPW 50, no regrets, hits the Rec Room South Edmonton Comet Friday, July 31st. See LPW Grand Champion T.Y. Jackson face his toughest challenge, God's Gift to Wrestling, MRB. Whether it's a family outing, date night, or drinks with friends, check out Edmonton's wildest party at Love Pro Wrestling. Tickets available now at tixart.com/Love Wrestling.
It might have been scraped by the snowblower, dented while door crashing, or crunched at the company Christmas party. At some point over the winter, your car was damaged and it's been hiding under a coat of winter grime.
Then come and see Robertson Body Works. We can take care of the damage and the dirt. This week only, call and book a repair and get a complete auto detailing absolutely free.
But you have to book your appointment before the week is up. Go to robertsonbodyworks.com.
I'm Tim Robertson, and I fix cars.
Recently, our company softball team lost the big game by 1 run. Then Dale tried to console us with the quote, "Winning isn't everything." Well, Dale and I are very different. I get early payout from Bet365. If my team goes up big, I get paid out instantly, even if they blow the lead later. Sound familiar, Dale? Thanks, Bet365.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. 18 plus all. T's and C's apply.
The Tom Gazzola Show. All gas, no brakes. Edmonton's sports leader. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by Bet365. Alberta, we are here to stay.
Well into the 10 o'clock hour here on the Tom Gazzola Show on Sports 1440. Brandon Douglas in for Tom this week. A couple more days, and then he will make his triumphant return after a little time off on Tuesday following the August long weekend. Man, excited to start to hear from our listeners. What's everyone getting up to for the long weekend? Are you heading to BVJ, playing some slow pitch, going camping, out to the lake? Whatever you're doing, I'd love to hear about it. It's 1-833-41440, and we'll kind of field those messages over the next couple of days. We just got a little treat, surprise guest visit from none other than Pat Galenza, chair, the RATV program down at Nate. He's headed to BVJ. He said first time in a lot of years, taking the camper out and everything. So, like, it's Wednesday and Pat's already going. He's rocking, locked and loaded, rocking and rolling for the kickoff party tomorrow night down in Camrose. Nate Smith, I think, is playing the kickoff party. I like him a lot. Good artist. Rest of the lineup, a little more so-so on. The Gazzola Show is brought to you by Bet365. Canada just hit the biggest home run of the summer. Bet365 is available in Alberta and here to stay. Download the app. Must be 18 plus. Please play responsibly. Now, I believe we're ready to rock and roll as Cam Tate has been in studio with us near all morning. He was only a few minutes late. I'll give him a pass on that one after I gave him the gears on air yesterday, thinking he didn't like me. He's been in here at 7 bells sharp with Tom Gazzola the past week and a half. As soon as I take over the chair, doesn't bother coming in. Thinks he gets a pass. No, not from me. So he's in here working hard. Here is today's edition of Cam and Eggs.
All right. Mr. Douglas. 2 days. 2 days I left you hanging. And I know, I'm sorry, truly. But I'm making it right, and I'm making it right big. Exclusively Cam and Eggs. End of the broadcast. Just you, me, and a skillet. Now here's your assignment, Mr. Delburn. Adjust that black cap. Look around your street, your church pew, your bingo hall. Somebody over 75 who lives and breathes hockey on that TV. That's who we're honoring. Got that? Over 75. Loves watching hockey on TV, keyword. So you want to watch the Leafs this year? Buckle up. Starting September 22nd, Sportsnet Plus is raising the price on you. Standard plans going from $30 to almost $35. Premiums creeping up too, $43 to $45. Now, Amazon's actually holding steady. Prime Video's still $10 a month for their slate of Leafs games. But if you want TSN and Crave in there too, that bundle through Prime runs you about $33 a month after the discount. So do the math with me. Sportsnet, TSN, Amazon, that's 3 separate subscriptions just to catch every single game. Hockey's not cheap anymore, folks. It's a full-time financial commitment. Now, far be it from me to tell Sportsnet how to run their business. That's not what this is. But I've got a question. Is this new pricing forgetting, and I'll use that word on purpose, forgetting our senior citizens? The people who built this province, this country. People who still watch television. People who might struggle with the internet, with apps, with bundles and passwords. People like the folks in Delburn who just want to watch the game on a Saturday night. Is that fair? I don't know, but somebody ought to ask it. There you go, Matty K. Cam and eggs. This is Cam Tate. Sports. 1440.
Excellent stuff, Tater. Rewinding to our discussion from earlier in the show about this new announcement from yesterday that Rogers Sportsnet farming out 26 of their games, couple playoff series in the first round, second round playoff series to Amazon Prime and Prime Video for the entirety of this 12-year deal. Steve texted in and followed up. We're all just peasants. Nobody cares about senior citizens or people on a budget. And that's obviously like his view on how Rogers looks at us. Say like, oh, what's another thing you got to buy? Listen, Tater laid out the numbers. Is it worth it to go that way instead of just a cable subscription? Now, keep in mind, to get everything that you get from TSN Plus, Sportsnet Plus, and Prime Video, like Prime Video, you need that separate. It's weird because it's an American thing compared to Canadian, obviously, but like Prime Video Thursday Night Football, that's still on TSN, right? That's not going to be the case for hockey, as we've learned over the past couple of years with the Monday night hockey. If you want to watch those games, you're watching them on Prime Video, nowhere else. Full stop. And from the hockey perspective, Cam's right. Like just using the Leafs as the biggest example, since they are the biggest team in the country, games are on TSN, games are on Sportsnet, games are on Prime. 3 different things you need. And if you ever wanted to watch more out-of-market games, you could not do that with a regular cable package. You'd need NHL Center Ice. Sportsnet Plus gives you all the games, minus the ones that are on Prime. There's no doubt that it makes life more difficult for the viewer, for the consumer. There are upsides, but just straight from a dollar and cents perspective, it will cost you more. The Buffalo Wings discussion, pretty one-sided. Rod in the Valley says he likes a hot dill pickle. Yeah, a hot dill. I like those. There's a little compliment order. Brett from Stony, Buffalo being the most overrated chicken wing is the most insane take I've ever heard. Possibly. Oddball, buffalo sauce is just hot sauce with butter. Well, yeah, it's not rocket science. You can make it at home. Get your favorite hot sauce, dunk it in there, butter, vinegar, mix it up. Overheat, obviously. Pretty straightforward. I make it at home all the time. And I honestly, you know what hot sauce I usually use? Frank's.
That's usually what it is.
It's good stuff. My qualm with this take, Donovan, is the overrated part. And it's too bad Connor Halley's not coming in here today. He's going to be in here at the Frenzy, obviously. And I can't wait to ask him. He despises the use of the overrated terminology. He's like, it's properly rated. And I think this could not be more applicable than in this moment. You want to know why it's so popular? Because people like it.
There are just so many better hot sauces to put on a wing.
Name 5 right now.
Literally any dry rub.
Do it.
Literally,
Dry rub, get out of here.
Literally
leave this place.
Any
get
dry
lost.
rub hot sauce.
No.
Type mix. I like a nice, like a habanero mango type dry rub. That's awesome. I'm taking that every day of the week over it. I don't know. Honestly, like there are good sounding ones that I've never had, but I'm sure they're better.
Yeah, name 5. All right, Donovan, I'm going to give you a chance. I'll let you collect yourself and see if you can come up with a legitimate example of a better hot sauce to just put on a wing. While I read this text from Delta Valley Jeff. Based on Donovan's wing take, I can only assume he chose to wear T-blades on his skates. I'm not sure how those two are connected. Maybe you just want to be different, maybe?
What are T-blades?
Oh my God, Donovan, you don't know T-blades?
I just need to Google this real quick.
You replace the holders on your skates? Like, this is before we got like the quick change blades and everything we have now. They were holders, and they had like the little circles in them, and the blades were so tiny, and you replace the steel like every time you would go to get your skates sharpened. You replace the steel on them instead. And you had this special little screwdriver with like 3 little knobs on it. And the reason people thought they were cool is they made this weird noise when you were skating on them. And it was always every kid you played minor hockey with that just thought he was the hottest shit and was better than everyone else. And the reality was they usually weren't. You could like get like custom colored covers for them too. I played with this guy in Bantam and midget hockey. He got like, they were like shiny red and blue around the holders of the skates. It looked so dumb. Shout out my boy Cam McGarra. And he would get into, like, our coach made fun of him all the time. Said those are the ugliest, stupidest things I've ever seen. And we were playing in a game, and Cam came back off the ice, and he says, hey, coach, I just got a compliment on my T-blades out there from someone on the other team. I said, Cam, it is not a compliment when the other guy comes up to you and says, hey, nice skates. Insert whatever expletive you want to use here. Loser. D-head. S-bag. Whatever. Take your pick. They're all applicable. And that's the only thing you ever got told when you were wearing T-blades out there. I can't believe you don't know T-blades.
I didn't know what they were like by name. I know what they are after Googling them, but
did you wear them?
No, God no.
Did you play against anybody that wore them?
No. I played against some people that wore like those, white were they white Nikes skates? Those were
what?
There used to be like white.
Oh yeah, I know what the skates
Nike
you're talking about,
skates.
but those like were from even before I was playing.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why somebody wore those, but like I guess somebody wore those because maybe they had like weird feet or something. I don't know how it works, but you want some hot sauces? Just any Kraft hot sauce?
No, now that I gave you time to Google them, yeah, go ahead.
Just any Kraft hot sauce. This number 7. It's Canadian. It is
good.
Better hot sauce. Just literally any Kraft hot sauce is going to be better than buffalo sauce.
Well, Donovan, I think we can officially agree to disagree. Walt says T-blades were so cool. Never understood the hate on them. I'm pretty sure someone in the NHL wore them at one point, maybe the American League. Yeah, I think somebody texted that in too. I think it was Dennis Seidenberg. I think he might have wore them. And that to me was the whole thing about T-blades. If they're so great, why do no pros use them? And then you're like, oh, someone did. One pro in the NHL wore them, and I'm quite sure it was not about the whole for the whole season. Because that would hold and there was a thermoblades thing that came up after that where it was like the blades are hot, they cut through the ice better. Like, if this is so great, why does nobody actually use them in the NHL level? Anyway, I don't know if Declan's here yet, but I hope he's waiting outside the studio with bated breath to come in and talk some ball with all of us. It's Tom Gazzola Show on Sports 1440. Brandon Douglas, Donovan Paulson, Buffalo Sauce Hater, Josh Fenwick, Cam Tate, and Connor the Lesser. Connor the intern is in there behind the board, learning and getting up to speed on things happening. We'll maybe chat with Connor a little bit to round out the show today, but we're expecting Declan Kruger in studio right after the break here. Watch us. We're streaming the show on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch. It's brought to you by Bet365.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at edmontonexpocentre.com today.
Wondering what you can afford? Let Go Auto do the math with our free car loan calculator. No pressure, no awkward convos, just quick answers on your budget and payments. Bad credit? No credit? We got you. Text check to 780-777-7777. That's check to 780 all 7. Find out what you qualify for and start shopping with confidence. Go Auto. Drive what you love with payments that make sense.
At Cougar Paint and Collision, caring family touches go the extra mile.
I remember specifically there was a pretty old lady near the end of her driving career, and she came in and she was just distraught. She sat down, and within 5 minutes, she had a cup of coffee, she had a donut. A lot of shops don't offer things like that. You know, we realize how traumatic a vehicle accident can be. The little family touches like an animal or a coffee or a donut, they really go the distance.
Cougar Paint and Collision, our family helping your family.
Sports on weekends. Saturday mornings at 9. Check out the Saturday Sports Setup, where we'll tee up what's happening on the weekend sports scene. Tune in Saturday morning at 9 on Sports 1440.
Caesars is Alberta's anytime, anywhere sportsbook. Stay in the action with your favorite teams and players. Whether you're camping, kayaking, or catching a show this summer, bet wherever you are, whenever you want. Plus, Caesars Sportsbook offers fast payouts and flex parlays, a new way to keep your bet alive even if a pick misses. Download the Caesars Sportsbook app today.
Must be 18 or older and physically present in Alberta to gamble. Must be 21 or older to use Caesars Sportsbook. If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. Standard message and data rates may apply. Please play responsibly.
I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. The goal of every one of the thousands of hair restoration procedures I've performed is a full, natural-looking head of hair. I work directly with my patients for the consultation, the procedure, and the follow-up, so we can achieve the best results possible. When people see what we accomplish, I don't want them to think, "Wow, great hair transplant." I want them to think, "Wow, great hair." Go to drvanceelliott.com and contact us today.
The Tom Gazzola Show on Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440.
Presented by Bet365. Alberta, we are here to stay.
$10:27. Welcome back to the Tom Gazzola Show on Sports 1440. Brendan Douglas in for Tom this week. 1-833-401-1440 is our text line. The show, as always, brought to you by Bet365. And the text line is fired up. Talking T-blades, talking thermoblades, talking chicken wings. All valid debates this morning. People on both sides. Not many people on Donovan's side, unfortunately. But there are a few. And maybe let's open things up with our next and final guest of the morning, Declan Kruger. Hear him every day on Sports 1440, noon to 2 on the Lowdown with Low Tide, and then on the Jason Greger Show from 2 to 6 as well. Plus his work over at Elks Nation, 2 podcasts a week with Eddie Steele, putting up articles there as well. Declan, good morning. How are we today?
We are doing very well. Good morning to you as well. Sorry I'm not in studio. I know it's
it's not as intimate when we do it over the phone. So I apologize for that, but I'm glad to be doing this one right now.
All good. We'll get our intimacy in a little bit later on once you make your way in studio. I want to ask you this question, Donovan's fifth topic for In or Out. I know you're a huge fan of the segment. He believes that Buffalo wings are overrated. You're a Buffalo Bills fan. Can you stand by for this blasphemy?
You cut out there at the end a little bit. I'm going to assume you said, "Can I stand by for this blasphemy?"
Yeah.
I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
No, there are some wings that are overrated for sure. I think salt and pepper. I think lemon pepper is a little overrated, but I'll never say a buffalo wing is overrated because it feels like sacrilege to my community. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I couldn't agree more. And I just have to think, if it was overrated, why do so many people like it? I think it's properly rated. Right. Like, that's Connor Halley's go-to argument when people say stuff's overrated. And I don't know if it could be more applicable than right here in this moment.
No, I think that's a good one. But I do hate that about Connor. Like, everything is always properly rated, no matter what.
There's no such thing as underrated or overrated. Everything is properly rated.
Dude, that was like one of the first takes he had when I met him. He was just saying, "No, everything's just rated properly." I was like, "You're shit. Like, nothing's underrated or overrated ever. Everything's just good."
Never. Declan Kruger from Elks Nation and our very own Sports 1440 programs online with us here on the Tom Gazzola Show on Sports 1440. So, Deck, let's start with the green and gold. Of course, you and Eddie doing your 2 shows a week at Elks Nation. You pen in some articles up at elksnation.ca as well. This rematch with the Riders on Saturday. I mean, after what we saw on Thursday night, best game of the league so far, or the season, so far. Is it possible for the rematch to fall short of the hype that's been built around this? Or these are 2 good football teams, a lot of playmakers on both sides of the ball. Do you think that we can get a rematch that matches what we saw in Regina?
Well, I think the intensity will certainly be the same, but I think it'll probably shift a little bit to more of a defensive-minded game.
Mm-hmm.
Like Edmonton, they were the 2 best defenses in the league statistically coming into that first matchup. Saskatchewan, I don't care what the numbers say. This is one where I'll always take my eyes over. Like, that defense is not very good. I think we saw it in the game. Edmonton's defense, I think, will correct itself. Like, Trevor Harris, obviously incredibly accurate guy. You have 3 receivers who can really get theirs. But their defense has won them games this year and been a point of pride for them. So I think that will correct itself on their side. On Saskatchewan's side as well, I just think Corey Mace is too good of a coach to get hung for 500 yards again for a 34-year-old quarterback. Obviously, he's got to deal with Justin Rankin and, a lot of weapons that can create separation in the receiving game. But I think this one will definitely trend to be a little bit more lower scoring. I think somewhere in the 24-21 kind of range, maybe similar late field goal. But I just think the game script will be a little different.
Now, one of the storylines around the Elks in their past couple of games have been, Justin Rankin getting slowed down. Obviously, BC did it a couple times, and then Saskatchewan kind of following a similar type game plan on we don't want to let that guy beat us. Now, all the credit to Cody Fajardo and a collection of the receivers because they found a way to beat them offensively with the air attack. Now, do you expect Saskatchewan to adjust in a way that opens things up a little bit more in the run game, or do you think that they kind of double down on the notion that Cody Fajardo won't go 500-plus yards, 4 scores, no picks again? Well, happy to let him try and try and take better advantage of it in our secondary if they do.
No, I honestly do. I honestly think they're going to really key in on Cody Fajardo and the receivers, and it'll open up Justin Rankin. A lot of what they did, obviously, was load the box, get the front 7 to have, apply pressure, plug those gaps. I think this one will be a lot more you'll see a lot more man coverage with a couple, maybe 2 safeties over the top, which is something you never see, or the middle backer and the safety over the top, something like that. And it'll just be a straight 3-4 man rush, and it'll open it up for Justin Rankin. Josh Bell's not the most creative defensive coordinator in the world in Saskatchewan. He's very basic. It's something he's really kind of been hammered for. And I just think he's going to try and go into his bag of tricks, so to say. I said it with air quotes. I think he's going to try and go into his bag of tricks and take Cody Fajardo away. And then all of a sudden, Justin Rankin's going to be where did all these lanes open up from? Why do I have all this highway and real estate? I think Josh Bell is a guy, I think, who is going to be too concerned about what beat them last time and I think we all kind of agree that Justin Rankin is the best player on this offense. I think he's going to be way too concerned about what happened last time than actually focusing on the best player. So that's why I think he's going to key in on the passing game. And I do think it'll open up for Justin Rankin. I think he's too good to kind of have a sustained, I know he had 100-yard game mixed in there, but I think he's too good to have a sustained kind of drop from that north of 100 mark. So I think he gets back into it with like 115, maybe a couple touchdowns. And Cody probably not going to throw for 5'10" again, probably somewhere in the mid 200s or low 300s. But no, I do think they'll key on the passing game, and it'll open it up for Justin Rankin.
Declan Kruger from Elks Nation and the Lowdown with Lowtide with us here on the Tom Gazzola Show on Sports 1440. So then defensively for the Elks, right? It's kind of funny how things can work out the way they do, especially in the CFL where we know how high scoring it is. Like the defense has been playing exceptionally well this year. And we saw them the week previous, take advantage of Chase Bryce and generate a ton of turnovers. And the secondary has been ball hawking. But from a pure numbers perspective, they did get lit up pretty good last week. And it largely came in the pass game, just as their own offense towards the Riders defense. So what are you seeing game plan wise to try and tighten things up and limit what Trevor Harris and company are able to exploit against them? Because as you pointed out, they've got 3 really good receivers and it's going to be impossible to shut it down. But how do they slow it down at least?
I know, man. It's such a tough task. Like those 3 and Trevor Harris, they're really just going to get there. So you really just have to limit it. And you have and I've been calling for more man coverage. I wanted to say hey, listen, I really trust these DBs. I want to go man on man, and just if you get beat, you get beat. And then it turns out they actually got beat pretty well and decent by all 3 receivers. And I was like, ooh, maybe that wasn't the best game plan. So if I'm JC and I'm that Edmonton Elks defense, I'm keeping everything in front of me. I'm flowing, but I'm also bringing pressure to Trevor Harris. Like Trevor Harris is one. Me and Eddie kind of went back and forth about this. Trevor Harris, super accurate guy, but to me, Bo Levi Mitchell is a guy who gets the ball out really quick, quick drop, 1.5 seconds out of his hand. With Trevor, he generally takes the full 3, and he's not very mobile, which you would expect from a 40-year-old. And you saw in the game last week when Malik Carney, when he had his sack, he was in 1.5 seconds. Great, beautiful spin move. But Trevor Harris, he had no escapability. So it really is basic, but I just think bringing pressure to a guy who's that immobile and that much older and does take an extra maybe second and a half before he gets the ball out because he likes to go through all his progressions will make it really uncomfortable for him. So zone coverage, keep everything beneath you, flow, you tackle really well, and then a lot of pressure for Trevor Harris, way more blitz packages, especially out of your backers, and just make it uncomfortable for him and make him really feel that pocket collapse.
Now, Declan, apart from the CFL, you're obviously just a football head and a football fiend in general with a lot of investment in the NFL and watching that all season long, but also college football, which is a month away from week 1 play beginning here, coming up at the end of August. Cold open question for you. Your top 5 going into this 2026 season in NCAA college football Div 1.
Oh, man, what a question. I wasn't expecting this at all. I think I have Texas at number 1. Arch Manning had a great back half of the season. I know his first season, it didn't start very well. They had that Florida loss in there. Everyone was kind of piling on them. But I think Steve Sarkisian really, really has become an underrated head coach. And I think that roster, just top to bottom, is so good. So I'd have them number 1. I think at number 2, I would actually have Notre Dame. A lot of that is I'm already just predicting the schedule. I think their win total, their over-under is 11.5. Mm-hmm. In a 12-game season, man, their over-under is 11.5. They have one really tough game against BYU. I love CJ Carr as a quarterback. They'd be my number 2. I think Oregon and Ohio State in some order would be 3 or 4. Okay. I'd listen to arguments for both. I'd probably put Oregon ahead just because of Dante Moore. And then the 5th one is tough. You look at a team like Miami, and it's how much do you believe in Darian Mensah? You look at a team in Indiana and what they did last year. I think Indiana's probably going to regress just because I don't think they're going to have an undefeated national championship season. But they're also allowed to, right? You won a title at Indiana. You can go 1-11 for the rest of your life. It's fine. You won a title at Indiana. So my 5th one, I think I would probably go with Georgia.
Okay.
But they're just not the same Georgia team from 21, 22 when they had like NFL defensive linemen at every single. Like I know they still do, but the size was just the intensity was just different. They're not quite the same team, but I also think their schedule is really favorable, so I'll put them at number 5.
So, the discussion always is in those that pay attention to NCAA and the NFL. There's, the crossover is about the next year's draft and the players that are going to come out. And naturally, we focus in on the quarterbacks because it's the most important position in the sport. Now, pretty weak QB class this past year. Mendoza going first overall, deservedly so as the national champion with that Hoosiers team. But, Dante Moore holding back another year. Yep. You mentioned CJ Carr. Arch Manning down in Texas. Like, is there a season opening front runner for you as to who will be the first name off the board next spring, or and do you think it will remain the same by year's end, and who could be the number 1 overall selection?
It's a good question. I think just because Dante Moore was touted as one of the guys who would have done well had he entered the draft last year, I'll say him. I'm trying to think. I really like Sam Levitt at LSU. And I just think in that, like he was hurt last year at ASU before he transferred. So I think people kind of forget what he did the season before that. Little bit older, but I just think what he can do in a Lane Kiffin offense will really, really bode well for him. And then the other guy I would say, just because of how dynamic he can be, is Trinidad Chambliss. So one of those three, I think it'll be one of those three, but I lean Dante Moore.
Yeah, the Trinidad Chambliss. I mean, he's a lot of fun to watch. There's no doubt about that. I wonder if he's kind of one of those guys that maybe just begs the question about how well does it translate to the NFL level. It's a little more erratic and maybe needs some honing on the stone to put him into a pro type system. But so many teams run pro style offenses now, it might be a moot point altogether. A last one for you, Deck, and we'll wrap it up with where we started in Buffalo. But instead of Wings, it's Bills. How confident are you in your club's ability to bounce back inside the AFC East? Can they win the division, take it back from the Patriots? And with a changeover of coaching staff, what do you make of Joe Brady taking over?
Yeah, I don't know if I would have gone with Joe Brady, man. Like, I like Joe Brady a lot. I know Josh Allen likes him. I know he turned Josh Allen into an MVP winning quarterback. I never want to say it was the play calling's fault, but he was kind of a constant in a team that could never get it done, right? Like we couldn't have maybe looked out of house a little bit longer before we decided on Joe Brady. Like I like Joe Brady as an offensive coordinator. I'm Josh Allen clearly likes him. I'm sure he's going to be a good head coach. But I'm just saying he was also like he wasn't flying off the rack to go coach a lot of other teams, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I hope it works out, but I'm not that bullish. I think they'll win the division. I think the Patriots will take a step back because their schedule gets that much harder. And then a divisional round loss seems to be par for the course. So I'll lock that in for the Bills this year.
You've just come to terms with that as a Bills fan.
Yeah, on the show, I called Josh Allen a loser, and I said he'll always be a loser, unfortunately. And that's just how it breaks. And Lowtide got really mad at me for it. I think Donovan and Josh might have as well. And, it's not like I love Josh Allen, man. I used to have to watch, Nathan Peterman started games for my team. Like, J.P. Lawson was the quarterback when I became a fan. Ryan Fitzpatrick, Tyrod. Like, Josh Allen is a much better alternative. But it just gets to a point where you have to accept what he is. And I've seen it too many times in the playoffs. And, dude, how about last year? It was wide open. It was the most open it was ever going to be for him, and they couldn't get it done. Now, granted, it should have been a catch. It shouldn't have been an interception on that one play against Denver. But, revision is what are you going to do? But, no, I'll say divisional round loss, but a 13-4 regular season. And Joe Brady is safely ranked the 12th best head coach in the NFL by year's end.
I love the specific nature of your predictions, Declan. Always enjoy our conversations. What do you got coming up on the LD with LT today?
Oh, man, great show. Going to talk a little Macklin Celebrini.
He's rich.
With those state taxes in California, he's only making like $700,000 a year, and agent fees, which is tough to live on. We're going to talk to, what day is it? Wednesday? We're going to talk to Kevin McCurdy a little bit. Connor, the new intern, I'm sure he's going to get some on air time. And we're just going to have fun with the man. Dude, you know what? It's July 29th, so we're not taking things too serious.
Yeah, you got time. You got time. Awesome. Well, thanks, Deck. We'll see you once you roll in studio a little bit later on.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Declan Kruger, you hear him on the Lowdown with Low Tide, noon to 2, as well as the Jason Greger Show from 2 to 6, right here on Sports 1440. And then, of course, his 2 weekly podcast with our own Eddie Steele over at elksnation.ca, Elks Central, Elks 101, and Declan even putting in some grind time on the keyboard, penning some articles at elksnation.ca. When we come back, we will wrap up the show, check in with the fellas, see what the rest of their Wednesday size is up as, let you know what's coming up on the station for the rest of the day, and send you off into the remainder of your Wednesday on hopefully a joyous and happy note. It's Tom Gazzola Show on Sports 1440, brought to you by Bet365. You can watch us. We're streaming it on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment is an innovative market leader across Western Canada. Properties include the Spruce Grove Saints, the Junior Prospects Hockey League, Silent Rides Charter Company, the Hockey Super League, and the newly launched Female Super League. Silent Ice also owns the Western Hockey League Seattle Thunderbirds and operates the Morinville AAA Arena. The Silent Ice Center, a new state-of-the-art entertainment facility in Nisku, features 2 sheets of ice, a 1,600-seat arena, as well as Summit Restaurant. Learn more at silentice.com.
Okay, new strategy. I'll just live in the freezer till October. It's spacious in here. It's spacious.
There's a better way to survive the coming AC season. Pro Solutions is your one-call solves-it-all expert for AC repairs, tune-ups, and new installations. We offer convenient financing options and fast appointments so you can enjoy your entire home, not just the freezer.
Now I can leave the frozen peas where they belong.
Book now at prosolutionsinc.ca.
For over 60 years, the folks at Diablo Boots have been selling the best Canadian-made boots. Handcrafted in Winnipeg, Canada West makes the best quality cowboy, biker, and work boots for Diablo Boots with replaceable soles and heels. Why buy cheaper quality like Ariat, Justin, and Red Wing made in China when Canadian-made is better? Support Canada's workers and Diablo Boots for the best boots. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Canada West and Diablo Boots, the 2 best names in the boots business.
Legendary is here with BetMGM Casino. Download now to check out over 4,000 casino games, including exclusive slots like Survivor and hundreds of live dealer games. Unlock Vegas magic and sign up for the BetMGM app. See BetMGM.com for terms. 18 plus, Alberta only. Please play responsibly. Subject to eligibility requirements.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. BetMGM operates pursuant to an operating agreement with the Alberta iGaming Corporation. Standard message and data rates may apply.
The Tom Gazzola Show with guest host Brandon Douglas on Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440.
Presented by Bet365. Alberta, we are here to stay.
Show on Sports 1440. Welcome back. 1047 in Edmonton. The show brought to you by Bet365. If you're interested, you can check out Bet365 early payout for baseball. When your team goes up by 5 runs, you get paid out immediately. No stress about blowing a big lead. Download the app and see what early payout is all about. And plenty of baseball games to tickle your fancy today, as the Jays will wrap up their set in D.C. with a matinee getting underway just after the top of the hour, as a matter of fact. Trey Savage on the hill, Zach Little. See how that goes. A couple games already going, actually. Phillies up on the Marlins. D-backs and Pirates are scoreless. Braves and Mets set to go pretty quickly here. Yeah, lots of early games today, which is nice for people like me. When I go home and I just sit on the couch and say, what's on? I turn on my incredibly expensive Sportsnet Plus app on my TV, and I find a game to dive into. Coming up on the station for the rest of the day will be the Frenzy at the top of the hour with Connor Halley and Donovan Paulson and Josh Fenwick and Connor the Lesser. And they will be joined, I believe, by Andy McNamara. What a legend this guy is. Much like Declan, we just heard him essentially just serve himself to the point of like, I don't believe in my team being the Bills. That is what Andy McNamara brings about the Cleveland Browns. He's a realist. And he's a fantasy football aficionado as well. So lots of great insight from Andy coming up. They'll go 3 rounds with Josh to open things up as well. And then at noon, Alan Mitchell will slide in studio, the lowdown with Low Tide. We just heard with Deck. They'll be joined by Kevin McCurdy to talk some stuff. Plenty of Macklin Celebrini talk, I'm sure, about his new deal, in case you missed it. 5 years, $18.8 million AAV. That will kick in the beginning of the 27-28 season. So one more year of entry-level deal for Celebrini. And then all of a sudden, the Bulls really start firing. A little bit of footwork going to need to be done by general manager Mike Grier. It's no matter how you slice, like you can agree with the number or not. You think it's fair, but he's not being a team player like Donovan. If you think this is just the going rate, it is what it is. Like, it doesn't matter. The numbers are the numbers. Grier is going to have to pretty carefully assemble this roster moving forward now to accommodate for a salary of that size. Even with the cap going up, like it's just a fact. Just a fact. And then at 2:00, Jason Gregor will kick off his program, drive you home 2 to 6. Wednesday means they'll probably be joined by Struddy, Speck, Cam Tate, and plenty of other people, I'm sure. Wow. You can't be serious. I was just out talking to Con Man. He's here with honestly, Joss, I'm shocked you're not out there. You got a little too good to go box with some treats in it. Oh. Yeah, I bet you are. Okay, so maybe it's the Connor Halley show today. I knew Gregor was taking holidays, but I thought it was tomorrow.
Yeah, I thought it was tomorrow.
I'll take the calendar's word for it. Either way, the guess will probably be the same regardless of who's hosting. Just a guess. A guess on the guess. And then after that, it'll be Fox Sports Radio because there's no Blue Jays game tonight. They're playing matinee affair in D.C. Morning game here in the Mountain Time Zone. So FSR overnight. We'll be back with you tomorrow morning at 7:00. Sean Bell will be in at 9 to be our co-host for 2 hours. Mitch Schlemmer today, as he is gone on holiday with his family, just like everyone is apparently. Tommy, Gregor possibly, and David Schlemko. If Schlemmer were here, I do want to note, he'd be powered by Cougar Paint and Collision. Cougar Paint and Collision, where family service and pride have earned customer trust for decades. CougarCollision.com. So hopefully Schlemmer's enjoying a little bit of time off. We expect him back next week along with Tom. Not Donovan, though. Are you leave Friday, Donovan?
Yes, I leave Friday morning. We got a nice little 7 a.m.er off to Toronto on Friday.
So on Friday on this show, Josh will do your job.
Yeah.
Which is actually my job. I'll do Tom's job. Mackenzie will do Josh's job. Or maybe Connor the Lesser.
Josh might do 2 jobs. Who knows? Because it's
I'm not sure if he's up for it.
That's a busy one. That one's gonna be a nightmare. And then a Friday in August. I think it's the second last week of August. We also got three guys off here. So
that's probably when I'm gone.
Yeah, that's you, Gregor again.
I'm much more easily replaced.
And
though.
Declan. Yeah.
Swing your mic over to young Connor the Lesser here. I know you guys gave him a little bit of an intro on the Frenzy yesterday, but I figure we could sample in a little bit. Maybe Friday's schedule and who's going to be working when and where depends on the development. 1 week development of Connor the intern. Connor, good morning. Glad to have you on the morning show. We heard you're 22 years old yesterday. And then you're from Calgary, right?
Yep.
But an Oilers fan, you got your lid on again. You don't want anybody to be misconstrued when they see you. They don't want, any association with Cowtown.
No, I want no association with the Flames while I'm here.
What about the CFL? You Stamps guy or double E guy?
Double E, all the way.
So, is your family from Edmonton originally?
Yeah, my parents were both born in Edmonton, and so just moved out to Calgary just before I was born.
Interesting. A little transplant action. Well, we're very glad to have you aboard. I will keep tabs on your progress this week, as the fate of Friday's show could very well depend on it, how you make out. So best of luck learning from the likes of Fenny, Declan, hopefully not too much from Donovan.
No, I haven't learned much from him.
Good. We'll keep it that way and then reassess next week. All due respect, Donovan.
Hey, you know what? There's
He's got no response.
There's not a lot of people that like to fire up people the way I do. So
I just chatted with Connor Halley outside.
Yeah.
He was listening to In or Out on his way in. He could not agree more. Well, doubling down on his own personal take about overratedness. And he really enjoyed when I just asked you to name 5 hot sauces.
Yeah.
And you could not. And then but he gave you a bit of a backhanded compliment too. He said, this guy could name the 3rd string goaltender for the Dallas Stars, but can't name 5 hot sauces off or wing sauces off the top of his head.
This is true. This is very. I can remember Pontus Aberg's career arc, which is ridiculous, but I can't remember what hot sauces or whatever I like. But I think that's probably pretty true in respect to all of us in this room.
Donovan,
sports memory is off the charts. Everything else is.
I'm always willing to debate and battle with you on these things. Like, I don't have to agree with you. That's what makes things fun. But the fact that then you're like trying to say these sauces are all better than buffalo sauce, which are sauces you've never even had before. And then you proceed to say these are all better than it, but somehow it was still buffalo sauce was still a top 10 in your original assessment of it. The numbers just aren't adding up here.
Listen, man, this is how I look at it. Okay.
Don't man me.
When I go to our friends down at First Round, you will catch me eating buffalo wings or the buffalo chicken burger thing maybe once every 20 games.
Well,
therefore,
it's 42 games. You're going to have to balance it out.
Therefore, I would just much rather, there are like a list of probably 5 sauces on their menu, some of which are hot, some of which aren't, that I would rather have. There are other hot sauces or other sauces that I prefer. It's good. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just personal preference.
That's all it ever is, Donovan. Good stuff. Good work today, fellas. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock. Connor Halley has you at the top of the hour with The Frenzy. Big thanks to all of our guests this morning for popping by and offering their insight. And appreciate to the texters, to the listeners for your contributions to the show as well. Hope you are back tomorrow morning starting at 7. Wrap up the show with a Sports 1440 update brought to you by All-Star Construction. They shape and build Edmonton communities, specializing in underground utilities like power, gas, telecommunication, and street lighting. That's All-Star Construction. Have a great remainder of your Wednesday, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow at 7. Here is Donovan Paulson.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
The news of the morning, in case you somehow missed it, Macklin Celebrini is staying in San Jose on an extension for 5 years and $94 million, 18.8 AAV. The Jays get underway in just over 5 minutes' time against the Nats. Trey Savage on the bump for the Bluebirds. Zach Littell for the Nationals. The Phillies up 2-0 in the just ending the 3rd inning against the Marlins. The D-backs and Pirates are knotted at zeros in the bottom of the 2nd. The Orioles and Tigers get underway in just over 10 minutes. You got a doubleheader between the Mets and Braves. The first game getting underway in just over 10 minutes. Tons of other matinees, including the Padres and Rockies, the Giants and Brewers, and many other games on this MLB slate. Coming up, it is the Frenzy without Douglas. I am Donovan Paulson. That's your Sports 1440 update.